I start by building Chase. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. I think you are here to take advantage of the situation. After the video was connected, Yan Ming appeared in high spirits. What's the matter? Lin Chen looked at him calmly. We received a request from the Jianming Empire, hoping to send Mechas to help them. As for whether to help, it depends on your opinion. Yan Ming smiled. Very friendly, unlike the shrewd Yang Ming before. Talk to them about the terms. No money, just materials, silver, copper, iron, aluminum, etc. Lin Chen said. You agreed? Yan Ming was surprised. All kinds of research and development and manufacturing in the base require material support, but the Empire still has too few materials. Lin Chen shook his head. The materials shipped by the Empire were enough before. But the speed of building Mechas and driving simulation cabins is getting faster and faster, and you will start to improve the Mechas later, so the resources will soon be unable to keep up. Among them, heavy metals are especially important, and the ones currently being used are also paid by the Gaka Kingdom. There is no way. Many departments in the Empire are also in urgent need of heavy metals. Yan Ming smiled awkwardly. Then hung up the phone. Lin Chen found Jingshi to ask about Yang Ming's weirdness today. The frequent appearance of monsters has diverted the internal conflicts of the Empire, forcing them to put aside their fights and face the monsters together. In short, this is a good thing. Jingshi smiled. At this time, the Jianming Empire. A tablet showed 3 huge monsters as big as mountains, 4-winged lizard beasts, which had destroyed half of the city of Talai. Oh, fuck, these 3 monsters are too powerful. Pussy exclaimed again and again. At present, the Jianming Empire can only use air power to delay the monsters. Currently, the people in the 5 surrounding cities are being evacuated, but the work is not going smoothly. The Minister of the Interior said. ? Pussy was puzzled. Many of our people took to the streets, and there was another wave of protests against you. Oh, fuck, these idiots. Pussy looked depressed. The Wang's Empire has accepted our request for assistance, but they need conditions. The ministers of the Interior and Exterior glanced at Pussy and whispered, the conditions only accept materials as the conditions for assistance, not paper money, and they said they want 20 tons of gold, 300 tons of silver, etc. We are asking them for assistance, not a defeated country negotiating a treaty with them, damn vampires. Pussy was furious. At night, after an hour of negotiations, the 2 sides finally finalized the conditions. 100 tons of gold, 1,000 tons of silver, and a number of various heavy metals. The reason for the increase in price was that the corpse of the monster was transferred to the Jianming Empire, which was their strong request. After the negotiation, the Wang's Empire began to arrange overnight to support the Jianming Empire. The next day, the Meteorological Bureau reported that the weather conditions were bad, and the transport was changed from transport planes to naval transportation. The Bizacraft carrier fleet of the 3rd Corps arrived near the coast of Jijie City. According to the order of the command office, it was to avoid rainy days and the Navy would be responsible for transportation. When the mighty warships appeared at the port, many nearby residents were stunned and looked at the port. At this time, the base was almost ready. In addition to the Mechas that were still under maintenance, 17 Mechas were ready to take off at any time. The voice of the base controller sounded. All aircraft, ready to go. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 17 Mechas took off one after another and headed straight for the aircraft carrier at the port. The last one was a helicopter. Jingshi took the initiative to follow. Not long after, the Mechas and helicopters began to land on the Bizacraft carrier one after another. This scene happened to be seen by the nearby residents, and they were all shocked. Why are our Mechas running to the warship? If our navy is equipped with Mechas, it will be invincible. It's so cruel. Fighter jets should be eliminated in the future. It was not until the fleet went away that the people stopped looking, but they were curious about what the Mechas were doing on the aircraft carrier. The Bizacraft carrier fleet cut through the wind and waves and drove towards the Jianming Empire. All the Mechas had been transported to the hangar to avoid the rain. Lin Chen and others were highly valued here. Although Lin Chen was only a professor, in the current situation, he had more authority than a Legion commander. Even when the monster attacked, his words were more effective than the commander's office. We will enter the port of Tulai City this time, and you will take off there. The captain pointed to the electronic map and reported the situation immediately. Of these blue areas, the areas where it is raining heavily? Lin Chen glanced at the blue areas on the route. Yes, that's right. It is because of these areas that we will temporarily change to transport them. The captain said. When can we arrive at the port of Tulai City? Early tomorrow morning. Okay, we will go to rest. Okay, get some sleep and adjust your condition. The bicycraft carrier fleet was still cutting through the wind and waves in the bad weather and moving forward in the rain. But there was no sense of any cruel environment in the cabin. Every driver was so excited that he couldn't sleep. He was about to go to Wanzai Jianmeng Empire to be the savior. Such a thing was enough to be recorded in the history of the empire. At night, the fleets of the Wanzai Empire and the Jianmeng Empire suddenly encountered each other at a distance of 30 nautical miles. The two fleets were the Bice aircraft carrier fleet and the Freedom aircraft carrier fleet. Faced with the Bice aircraft carrier fleet of the Wanzai Empire sneaking into the territorial waters, the Freedom fleet of the Jianmeng Empire, which sailed from the Arctic Ocean, immediately deployed a level 1 combat state before figuring out anything. All firepower was aimed at the fleet of the Wanzai Empire, and every Jianmeng warrior looked as if they were facing a great enemy. The Empire's homeland was being attacked by monsters, and the fleet of the Wanzai Empire sneaked into the territorial waters at night, so there must be some conspiracy. Please leave our Jianmeng Empire's territorial waters immediately, or we will not be polite. A Jianmeng signalman sent a signal to the bicycraft carrier fleet. Damn the Pacific Fleet, those good-for-nothings. If our Freedom Fleet hadn't just passed by here, the conspiracy of the Wanzai Empire would have succeeded. General Bid's face was as gloomy as water. He immediately felt that the cunning Master Wang was taking advantage of the rainy night to rob, so he had to stand up and turn the tide. To avoid misunderstanding, the bicycraft carrier immediately fed back the message. We're here to help you. Seeing this scene, Bid sneered. Aide, I think you're here to take advantage of the fire. Just don't believe the nonsense of Master Wang. At this time, the captain of the Bice aircraft carrier hurriedly summoned everyone to explain the current situation of the two fleets. Everyone. The atmosphere became weird for a while. What should I do? Should I report the news to the commander's office and let them negotiate? The captain asked. Negotiation is very troublesome, let's go back directly. Jiangxia smiled and stretched, outlining a perfect curve. For a moment, everyone subconsciously lowered their heads. Yes, go back directly. Lin Chen said. Then the bicycraft carrier fleet of the Wanzai Empire no longer made any explanations, turned around and returned to the Wanzai Empire. However, every soldier on the fleet was not frustrated at all, but excited. Chapter 77. You can go back, but you have to pay more. Supplies. The bicycraft carrier fleet was moving very fast. At this scene, the warriors of the Jianmeng Empire saw from the radar that the enemy fleet was evacuating, and immediately ran to the deck and cheered excitedly. Bah, a bunch of cowards. Ha ha, even if our homeland of the Jianmeng Empire is attacked by monsters, we will never allow any cats or dogs to come and provoke. The Great Freedom Fleet is the pride of the Jianmeng Empire. We stopped the conspiracy of the Wanzai Empire today, and the people should thank us. The global hegemony is never boastful. The Wanzai Empire can destroy monsters, but it was still scared to death when it saw our fleet. Long live the Jianmeng enemy country. The morale of these warriors was very high, and the shouts were endless. At present, the Empire is suffering from the troubles of monsters, and the people are generally in a low mood. If the news of the Bice fleet that drove away the Wanzai Empire is passed back to the Empire, it will greatly arouse the optimism of the people. General Bid also sneered and said, ha ha, as wise as I am, General Bid, I can see at a glance that the Wanzai Empire sneaked into our territorial waters in the middle of the night. There must be some conspiracy. The soldiers on the ship admired him inexplicably. The capital of Jianmeng. In the Emperor's palace, Pussy sat on the chair exhausted. He thought that the Jianmeng Empire was thanks to him, otherwise who knows what the Jianmeng Empire would be like now. Suddenly someone came in. The Minister of the Interior came. Pussy was shocked and his sleepiness disappeared suddenly. He asked, is the Mecha of the Wanzai Empire come in? Because of the weather, the Wanzai Empire temporarily changed to sea transportation, so the time will be delayed for a few hours. The Minister of the Interior said. Pussy nodded. As long as the Mecha of the Wanzai Empire can destroy the monster, the Jianmeng Empire will create countless energy cannons and terrifying killers in the future. By then, the monster will definitely come and go. This time it's just some rewards, not worth mentioning. But he soon found that the Minister of the Interior had not left, and his face looked a little strange. Do you have anything else to say? The command office issued a commendation order for Bit. Bit was promoted by me, he is both wise and brave. What surprising things has he done this time? Pussy looked happy. Sure enough, God has always been favoring the Jianmeng Empire. Just now, the command office issued a commendation order to Bid, saying that his fleet successfully drove away the Bai's aircraft carrier fleet that sneaked into our territorial waters. The Minister of the Interior glanced at him and his voice was rather strange. Is it the aircraft carrier fleet of the Wangzi Empire? Pussy's smile froze for a moment, and his intuition told him that he might hear some bad news next. Yes, and Bit also meant to announce this exciting news tonight to our people, said the Minister of the Interior. Oh, fuck, is Bit, this stupid pig, full of shit in his head? Pussy's face was ugly. Although he had a hunch that it was not good news, he did not expect the news to be so bad. That aircraft carrier fleet is used to transport and chase at sea. He was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. That idiot drove away all our aid, and he had the nerve to let me publicize this to our people. Pussy rubbed his face with both hands and began to roar wildly. If this news is announced, the crazy people will definitely break into the Emperor's palace and take him to the police station. What should I do now? Of course, let Bit, that idiot, bring the people back for me. Pussy roared hysterically. On the Pacific Ocean, General Bit was very happy, imagining that he would become a hero of the Jianmeng Empire in one fell swoop by driving away the fleet of the Wangzi Empire today. By then, all the girls and wives will rush to feel his enthusiasm. But the good times didn't last long. The signalman received a message from the Emperor's palace directly through the commander's office. Bit, you idiot, is your brain full of shit? You drove away our aid, and immediately bring all the people back for me. You must persuade them to come back at all costs. The fleet was quiet immediately. A group of grass mud horses ran over everyone's head. It felt like there was no cheering at all. What? That Bai's aircraft carrier fleet is really here to help us? Bit was immediately dumbfounded. What conspiracy of the Wangzi Empire is bullshit? Then, he madly issued an order. Oh, fuck, all warships quickly turn around and chase the Bai's aircraft carrier fleet, invite them all back. So, the Freedom Carrier Fleet put all its efforts to chase the Bai's aircraft carrier fleet. We caught up. A group of Wangzi Empire soldiers stood on the deck excitedly, break the drizzle, holding telescopes and looking into the distance. What are they catching up for? Of course, they are invited back. Friends of the Wangzi Empire, wait a minute, it was a misunderstanding just now, please go back with us now. The Freedom Carrier Fleet sent messages again and again. Tell them that they can go back, but they have to pay more supplies, Lin Chen and the captain of the Bai's aircraft carrier said. It's not much. We sailed 10 nautical miles, so we want 10 tons of gold. I believe they will agree. Jiangxia also said. Captain of the Bai's aircraft carrier, 10 tons of gold, just return. That's equivalent to the size of 10 microwave ovens. After a brief and urgent consultation, Lin Chen and Jiangxia's meaning was very clear. They could go back to fight the four-winged lizard beast, but they had to pay more supplies. Oh, fuck these damn vampires. Big's face was dark, and he really wanted to press these hateful Wangzi on the deck and beat them up. It's just 10 nautical miles, but they have to take 10 tons of gold. Big thought of the arrogance of the Bai's aircraft carrier fleet again, and turned around and left immediately if they were short of half a pound of gold. So angry. When the Jianmeng Empire has real choice in the future, I will never ask for help. 2 hours later, it was already dawn. The Bai's aircraft carrier fleet and the Freedom aircraft carrier fleet were close to the port of Talai City. At this moment, everyone in the two fleets was stunned by the scene before them. The ruins without vitality, a desolate scene, and dilapidated buildings everywhere that seemed to be blown down by a gust of wind. Perhaps many people don't know much about Talai City, but from the scale of the endless ruins, it is not difficult to guess how prosperous this city was before. Many people were silent. Soon, the coordinates of the four-winged lizard beast were received from the command of the Jianmeng Empire. Chusai City, 30 miles north of Talai City, was being destroyed by the four-winged lizard beast. So the hangar of the Bai's aircraft carrier began to transport and chase out. This scene happened to be seen by Bit on the ship. Oh, fuck. I was jealous to death. All aircraft take off. Lin Chen called. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh one by one, The Mechas rushed into the blue sky and headed towards the direction of Chusai City. At this scene, General Bit beat his chest and stamped his feet. As powerful as the Jianmeng Empire was, it actually needed to ask outsiders to help eliminate monsters. At the time, Chusai City was the second city where the monster four-winged lizard beast was wreaking havoc. The appearance of the three-headed, four-winged lizard beast caused a large number of lives to be destroyed. Tens of thousands of brave Jianmeng people temporarily gave up protesting against Puxi and rushed out of the city frantically. Everyone rushed to escape, causing chaos in the city. Everyone wanted to be the first to escape from Chusai City, but the more they did so, the slower they would escape. The ground was shaking more and more, and the sound of the building collapsing was getting louder and louder. People could even look back and clearly see the huge body and terrifying appearance of the monster. Just one glance would make people feel insignificant and powerless. Countless people began to despair. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh in the sky, the Mechas that had received benefits from the Jianmeng Empire arrived in time. All machines, humanoid form, prepared for battle. Lin Chen said calmly. Transform. Below, when countless Jianmeng people were desperate and helpless, 17 three-story humanoid Mechas appeared. Each mecha was very heroic and was covered with golden light under the morning sun. They slowly descended from the sky, just like the savior. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 78 Holy Light 8 has arrived. Along with the Mechas, the rising sun in the east also arrived. The warm sunshine shone on the earth, giving the city of Chusei the warmth of the morning light. In Chusei City, countless people were completely desperate, their bodies and minds were cold, but suddenly a warm sunshine shone, as if the clouds and mist had been cleared to reveal the sky, bringing hope. Is this the holy light? Did the holy light bring hope? However, countless residents were eager to see hope, and they cried out in tears, "Holy light, please protect this city." In Chusei City, the people who were fleeing or sitting on the ground crying helplessly were all stunned, and they all looked at the big fireball. Then they were shocked to see the Mechas that suddenly appeared in the sky. Those Mechas were covered in golden light and were extraordinary and heroic. They must be angels, and they must be angels who came to save Chusei City. After seeing hope, the people of Chusei City dissipated their fear and were filled with courage. They began to cheer loudly, with waves of cheers rising one after another. Look, the angels are here to help us. It's the Mechas of the Wangxian Empire. They must have been sent by God to protect us. Ha ha, did you see that? Only the Wangxian Empire came to help us in times of danger, while that old man Puxi only sits in his office and tweets all day. I love them to death. Although my nationality is Jianmeng now, the blood flowing in my body is still the blood of Wangxian. I decided to change back to my original nationality in the future. The fear of countless Jianmeng people was gone, and the fanatical emotions were crazier than any other period. Even if the voice was hoarse, it was still difficult to express the excitement in the heart. At this time, in the Emperor's Palace of Jianmeng capital, Puxi was very relieved when he saw the satellite images showing that the Mechas of the Wangxian Empire appeared in time. After all, if the Mechas appeared 1 second earlier, Chusei City would suffer less losses. But when he saw those idiots in Chusei City cheering for the Mechas of the Wangxian Empire like crazy, although he couldn't hear the content of the cheers, he immediately became angry. Oh, fuck, these idiots, asking these Mechas to destroy the monsters, we have paid a heavy price, even if we should thank my great majesty Puxi. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He picked up his phone and started tweeting frantically. Screen swiping mode started. At this time, the score was happening in Chusei City, and more than 1 billion people around the world were watching. The three-headed four-winged lizard beast was still wreaking havoc on the city's buildings. The eyes of the world were all on this place. Now that monsters appeared frequently, the competition between countries in the future will be on how to destroy monsters. Although it has diverted the contradictions between countries, it has almost become a personal show at the Wangxian Empire. Oh, by the way, the Jianmeng Empire will also come out to show its presence, although it all turned over in the end. As a result, the countries have become more determined to develop their military strength. At least get some energy cannons from the Jianmeng Empire. In that case, when the monsters appear in the future, at least there will be the power to resist. At the time, many pilots turned their eyes to the crazy Jianmeng Green. Yi Chuan asked. They seem to think we are angels. I said coldly. If you keep talking, I will stuff your mouth with used sanitary napkins. Lin Chen said. Today is a good opportunity to accumulate experience in actual combat. Except for Yichuan and Dia, the other machines are ready to fight. Yes. Xianglong, Kanglong and other pilots nodded in unison. Their results were not as dazzling as Yichuan and Dia, but they were also unwilling to accept it. So they were more eager to become stronger. Want to get the first blood of the four-winged lizard beast? Bang 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 14 Mechas took the lead in launching an attack, using the sparrow harassment tactics, and all the firepower hit the severely injured four-winged lizard beast. One by one, the shells accurately exploded in the center of the four-winged lizard beast's energy shield, causing the energy shield to splash with ripples. Yin. The already seriously injured four-winged lizard beast was attacked without any warning. It roared, twisted its long purple red neck, and looked over with its huge head. Its 8 red eyes, as big as millstones, stared at the big bug flying in the sky. Each eye stared at the mecha like an abyss, full of hatred and tyranny. The suffocating terror surged, making people's scalps numb and their hearts tremble. The fear in their hearts was infinitely magnified. The 14 Mechas were motionless, and the drivers inside fell into a sluggish state one by one. What are you standing there for? Hit me. At this time, Lin Chen's voice exploded in everyone's ears, causing the drivers to wake up from their voiceless state. Go to hell. The driver of the Xianglong shouted, and when the energy shield of the four-winged lizard beast was broken, he quickly turned up the power to the maximum. With a fierce momentum, he swooped down, stabbed the sword in, and shot down a freezing bomb. All the movements were done in one go. The freezing bullet quickly exerted its power in the body of the four-winged lizard beast, freezing all its vitality. Crack, crack, crack. The four-winged lizard beast's body made a sound of freezing, followed by the ice spirit from the inside out breaking out of the body. It was completely dead. After losing its balance, the huge body fell to the ground with a bang, hitting 2 skyscrapers again. After the smoke and dust, a monster ice sculpture like a mountain appeared, emitting a little dazzling light under the sunlight. Cool, our angel destroyed a monster. Mecha, please protect this Chusai city again. Most of the Jianmeng Empire was praising the Mechas of the Wang's Empire at this time. Leave the rest to us. Before he finished speaking, the Kanglong, Heilong and other Mechas rushed towards the other 2 four-winged lizard beasts. Bang, bang, bang. A dense barrage of bullets poured out towards the 2 four-winged lizard beasts. Boom, boom, boom. Occasionally, some of the shots missed, causing large areas of buildings to be blown up, and the speed of destruction was comparable to that of the four-winged lizard beasts. Global audience. Jianmeng people. Are you sure you were fighting monsters, not destroying the city? Oh, fuck, they must have missed on purpose. Pussy covered his face with his hands. In the end, after the continuous efforts of the drivers, the remaining 2 four-winged lizard beasts were finally beaten into ice sculptures after almost running out of ammunition. The battle lasted less than half an hour, and the mission to destroy the monsters requested by the Jianmeng Empire was completed. The entire Chusai city fell into silence, and everyone stared blankly at the 3 huge ice sculptures in the distance. After a long time, the residents sat on the ground and gasped as if they had been relieved of a heavy burden, and their faces were full of gratitude for surviving the disaster. It's great to be alive. Thank you for the holy light and the Mecha. If it weren't for the friends of the Wang's Empire who put aside their past grudges and came to support the Jianmeng Empire, perhaps the residents of this city would have been able to survive the monster's rampage with less than 30% of their lives. Chapter 79. Pussy said Lin Chen is very handsome. The entire Jianmeng Empire was also boiling. Countless people took to the streets, cheering and jumping to share this joy. Celebrating that the Wang's Empire helped the Jianmeng Empire to eliminate the monsters and complete a feat in human history. Compared with these joys, Pussy was relieved that the Wang's Empire's Mechas participated in the war and helped the Jianmeng Empire recover a lot of losses. But when he saw those cheering people, he felt like he had eaten a mouthful of flies and felt uncomfortable. He was completely unhappy and his face became uglier. This is a group of idiots. The benefits are all taken by the Wang's Empire, and the disadvantages are all borne by oneself. Oh, fuck. The battle is over. One by one, the Mechas flew back to the Bai's aircraft carrier. Afterwards, Lin Chen and others were invited to the capital of Jianmeng, where they were waiting for a press conference and a thank you lunch, and by the way, they talked about the payment of this reward. Outside the Emperor's palace of Pussy. At this time, it was surrounded by journalists, and the scale was quite large. Because the Wang's Empire has been in the limelight in the matter of eliminating monsters in the past 2 days, all countries want to obtain all information about monsters from it. Of course, the Jianming Empire's record was also very impressive. Their invincible mecha killers actually fought against the monsters head-on for 10 minutes and 9 seconds before being beaten into pieces. This was incredible. There were densely packed heads all around, and all kinds of flashing lights kept flashing. Lin Chen walked in the front and shook hands with Pussy in the middle of the venue. "Hello, Mr. Pussy." "Hello, Mr. Lin Chen." This was not only the focus of everyone's attention, but also a historical witness. Almost the whole world could watch the news content of this time. It was also a proud day for the Wangzhen Empire. The Empire's Mechas were showing off their power in Chusai City, and they had to thank them. How could they not be proud? "You are more handsome than on TV." Pussy continued to smile. Lin Chen nodded. Pussy felt that the atmosphere was a bit cold, or that he seemed not enthusiastic enough, and immediately added, "You are half as handsome as I was when I was young." Lin Chen and Jingshi beside him were immediately speechless. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became quiet. Everyone stood there with a dull look on their faces. 10,000 alpacas ran wildly through his heart. "Hello, Mr. Pussy." Jingshi generously extended her right hand to resolve Pussy's embarrassment. "Hello." Pussy immediately had a good impression of Jingshi, and did not forget to say, "This beautiful lady must be Mr. Lin's girlfriend. I am the eldest princess of the Wangzhen Empire." Jingshi looked embarrassed, and inexplicably developed a sympathy for the people of the Jianming Empire. "I have heard of you, Jingyu, but I didn't expect you to be more beautiful and generous than the legend." Pussy returned to normal. "I am her sister, Jingshi." In order to avoid further embarrassment, Pussy released the ultimate move. "The press conference will begin below." The press conference officially began. A reporter from the Darker country couldn't wait to stand up and asked, "Hello, Mr. Lin, can you share your situation with the monster?" "Of course," Lin Chen said. Many reporters passed by with great joy, and even Pussy pricked up his ears. "As we all know, there are 3 known monsters, so we named them Lizard Beast, 2-winged Lizard Beast, and 4-winged Lizard Beast." At this moment, Lin Chen's naming of the monsters began to spread all over the world, and it was no longer called Monster. Then everyone was dumbfounded when they saw Lin Chen stop talking. "That's it? That's it?" Reporters in the audience. "This idiot. Can't you reveal how to kill the monster?" At this time, Wangzhen reporter asked excitedly, Professor Lin, may I ask how the Empire transported the corpse of the monster 4-winged lizard beast that was eliminated back to the country?" The whole audience became quiet. The 4-winged lizard beast is a disaster, but the corpse is definitely a huge treasure. The content of the previous negotiations between the 2 countries is that the corpse will not belong to us, Lin Chen said. The reporters in the audience were in an uproar. Is the Wangzhen Empire stupid? Only the reporters of the Wangzhen Empire were silent. Disappointment. The audience of the Wangzhen Empire also watched this scene on TV, and they were all very disappointed. It turned out to be free help. It turns out that even the rising star of the empire, Lin Chen, cannot escape the temptation to lit the Jianming Empire. Ugh, so disgusting. In comparison, the audience of the Jianming Empire is different. They are in a very happy mood and laugh with relief. It seems that the people of the Wangzhen Empire are not bad. They are all good people. Yes, I didn't expect that they would cross the sea to help us fight monsters without asking for anything. Letting the Wangzhen Empire to destroy the 4-winged lizard beast is a sign of respect for them. Would they have the face to ask for benefits from the great Jianming Empire? Fortunately, they still have self-knowledge, otherwise they will definitely be in trouble in the future. At this time, Jingshi perfectly supplemented Lin Chen's unfinished words and said, "We in the Wangzhen Empire did not want the corpse of the 4-winged lizard beast, so we changed to 110 tons of gold, 500 tons of silver, and various heavy metals. Among them, 10 tons of gold is because there is a general named Bit." Pussy's face changed, and he thought to himself, "It's bad, I'm going to, with the group of idiots in the Empire, I'm afraid that they will protest against me again when they hear this news." As soon as Jingshi finished speaking, the press conference members all took a breath of air and showed a look of horror. The Jianming Empire is indeed the world's overlord and rich. The Mechas fought in Chusai City for half an hour, and they gave them so many supplies. And what the hell is that general bid? At the same time, the audiences of the Wangzhen Empire and the Jianming Empire immediately had a magical reversal. Countless Wangzhen audiences were holding their stomachs and laughing. and the Jianmeng audiences were furious, holding their heads in their hands and couldn't believe it. The great Jianmeng Empire actually had to pay. Thinking of the Wangzhen Mechas that I had thanked in various ways before, it turned out that they were all hateful vampires. Damn it. If I see the Wangzhen Mecha, I swear I will let those Mechas taste the power of my Hadouken Iron Fist. We don't need the Wangzhen Empire's Mechas to help us. Oh, fuck. That idiot Bit must be a spy of the Wangzhen Empire. Big must have deliberately driven away the Bai's aircraft carrier fleet, only in this way can they have a better excuse to blackmail us. Fuck, if it weren't for Bit, the Wangzhen Empire's Mechas would have come earlier, and my fiancé wouldn't have been trampled into meat paste by the monster. Why did Pussy pay so much? Now, the audience of the Jianmeng Empire hated everyone. Pussy, Bit, Wangzhen Empire. The audience of the Jianmeng Empire didn't care about Pussy's good intentions, and didn't care how much damage the four-winged lizard beast would cause if there were no Mechas. At present, they only know that they are very angry now. They actually gave sky-high supplies. The more they think about it, the angrier they are. They must go out and protest. Chapter 80 The Shy Girl. Countless Jianmeng people poured into the streets. This time they were going to do something big. They must take that old guy who does nothing all day and only sits in the office tweeting to the police station. At this time, the press conference was over. Lunch had already been prepared in the reception room of the Emperor's palace. It was more like a symposium. Pussy asked, Mr. Lin, what do you think about the Jianmeng Empire's defense against monsters? Very good. Lin Chen was puzzled. Pussy's face lit up, and he quickly asked the Minister of the Interior to prepare the camera, motioning Lin Chen to continue. You actively develop armed forces to resist monsters, although the effect is not ideal, but if you change to a second person, can you do as well as you do? Pussy was happy. Yes. Why should the outside world frame him? It can only be said that they misjudged the power of the monster four-winged lizard beast. He is the greatest emperor in the history of the Jianmeng Empire, without a doubt. If it was someone else, who knows what the Jianmeng Empire would be like now. In an instant, Pussy's confidence burst out again. Although this show failed in the end, we should never be discouraged. We should work hard next time. Professor Lin, what do you think about neural interaction? The head of the Underground Research Institute of Jianmeng Empire asked from behind. Jianmeng Empire has made many breakthroughs in its research on monster corpses, and one of them is the manufacture of the second-generation mecha. Unfortunately, there was a mistake in the neural interaction problem in the end. One driver could not support the action of the mecha normally, but two drivers obviously involved other factors. It is inconvenient for me to solve it for you because it involves technical problems, but this problem is not considered a technical problem. I think one person can do it with two people. Lin Chen answered casually, knowing that even if he didn't say it, the other party would do it. Professor Lin is worthy of being a legend in the scientific community. We have not made any progress in our research for a month, but you solved it with just a few words. The head of the Underground Research Institute suddenly brightened his eyes. The institute had also considered two people, but never made a final decision, because two drivers would inevitably explore all the secrets of the other party. However, now that Lin Chen said so, it undoubtedly proved their consideration. Once this problem is solved, it won't be long before the second generation of Mechas will be available. By then, the Jianmeng Empire will have three powerful weapons. Energy Cannon, first generation Mecha Terrorist Killer, second generation Mecha Behemoth. After a while, the Minister of the Interior whispered a few words in Pussy's ear. The latter covered his face helplessly. Oh, fuck, those idiots actually want to take me to the police station. Our empire has important matters that need to be dealt with urgently, so I won't keep you. As for the materials negotiated before, we will transport them to the Wangzhen Empire in 3 batches. Pussy took a deep breath and suppressed the irritability in his heart. Later, after Lin Chen left, Pussy immediately started to publicize the previous conversation of Lin Chen to all the people, so that they knew that if the Jianmeng Empire didn't have them, it might have been destroyed now. So those idiots outside should be proud of themselves. When there was a conversation about Lin Chen, after the unique publicity, those people who were ready to make trouble suddenly exploded. People on the streets of Jianmeng Empire stood still one after another. The atmosphere became weird for a while, and everyone's face was full of disbelief. Did we blame Pussy wrongly? If it weren't for him, the damage caused by the monster would be even more serious now. People thought about it and felt that Lin Chen was right. This matter could not be blamed entirely on Pussy. It could only be said that the monster's strength was beyond everyone's expectation. But when I thought that hundreds of tons of gold and silver were all given to Wang's empire, I was so angry. What should I do? After thinking about it, I couldn't make up my mind. Forget it. Anyway, since it has come out, I can't give up halfway. Wang's empire. With this assistance to Jianmeng Empire, the materials have been greatly supplemented. Therefore, the speed of various manufacturing can be described as changing with each passing day. The second batch of materials from Jianmeng Empire has been delivered. Inspector Sun Yui is checking the materials. Every time the materials are checked correctly, a forklift will transport the materials into the base. On the runway of the base, Lin Chen said to many drivers, "I will give you 5 days off, do whatever you want." Haha, great. The drivers ran away quickly. Aya stood there with a slightly red face, her ears were burning, and she buried her face in her chest and whispered, "Professor, I want." The fierce girl was shy. Lin Chen said, "What do you want?" "Tell me, I will try my best to satisfy you." "I want to take more allowances home, okay?" Aya said. "Well, wait for Sun Yu to check the materials and get it from him." Lin Chen said. Sun Yu's face became more and more ugly. 5 days later. In the laboratory of the base, Lao Wang walked in and began to report the results of the nearby base. 40 driving simulation cabins and 15 Mechas have been completed, and the subsequent Mechas will be completed the day after tomorrow and a week later. Lin Chen was surprised. Why so fast? Thanks to the materials of the Jianmeng Empire, our experience is getting more and more proficient, so we are all making them happily. Lao Wang replied. Lin Chen. We can use them Mechas, but these equipments. Lao Wang's meaning is very simple. The number of Mechas is not as many as the number of pilots, but the driving simulators have been enough in the base for a long time, and even more than enough. Save them for now. Lin Chen thought for a while. These driving simulators will be used sooner or later, but not now. Have all the pilots returned? Lin Chen asked again. They started to report back yesterday evening, but one is missing. Lao Wang replied. Who is it? That Aya. Lin Chen thought for a while and hesitated. It should be something at home. A week later. Another batch of pilots successfully obtained their own Chase the Dragon series. In addition to Lin Chen's Tianlong, 32 pilots have been equipped with exclusive Mechas and obtained the right to micro-decoration of their own will. Why are there no people? Lin Chen was puzzled while sitting in the chair. The surveillance covers the entire base except for the major laboratories. The pilots who did not get the Mechas in the training area are still training desperately. The pilots who got the Mechas were wiping them diligently, not letting the crew's maintenance personnel touch them at all. Lin Chen dared to guarantee that the expressions of pity on each pilot's face were no less than pity for the most important parts of the body. For example, Yi Chuan, the son of the pig farm, was still desperately stroking his hands, and no one knew which part he was pitying. Everything was normal, but there was only one big-breasted girl missing. She didn't meet with an accident, did she? Jingxi was alarmed by this incident. Aya had said before that she wanted to travel to Gongjin Mountain. Besides, Jingxi really couldn't figure out why such a living person would disappear. Thanks to Long for his 588 book coins, Hango for his 100 book coins, and everyone's votes. Thank you all. Chapter 81. Elsa's important discovery. Lin Chen remained silent. The phone was turned off, and no one answered the home phone. It seemed that this was possible. I had heard that there were giant pandas eating people in Gongjin Mountain before. Call the police in Guizhou province. Jingxi said. Controller, contact Guizhou province. Lin Chen said. At this time, the controller in the command room asked behind him. Just received a call request from Guizhou province, do you want to connect? Connect. Hello, Professor Lin, I'm Liu Fen, the director of the GA City Police Department. A spirited middle-aged man appeared in the video. Hello, Officer Liu. Excuse me, is there a young woman named Aya in your place? Liu Fen did not hesitate to explain his purpose directly. Yes, what happened to her? Hearing what the other party said, Lin Chen and Jingxi looked at each other subconsciously. Suddenly, it seemed that things had become complicated. Well, we received a report from her family that she disappeared while playing in Gongjin Mountain. We suspect that she may have died. Liu Fen continued. Lin Chen and Jingxi. Later, he hung up that call with Officer Liu Fen. Lin Chen immediately ordered all 32 Mechas belonging to the base to go out and go to Gongjin Mountain in Gizhou province to look for Aya. Swoosh, 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 32 Mechas were dispatched and flew out of the base one after another. In the sky, one mecha after another cut through the sky and broke through the clouds, rushing towards the south at a very fast speed. And this scene happened to be captured by the people in every city where the mecha passed, and people looked at the shocking scene in the sky. Oh my god, is there another monster? Fuck, there were only 18 last time, and there are 32 this time. There is nothing to envy. At this rate, we will definitely recruit mecha pilots again this year. Did another monster appear? The people of the Empire were all exclaiming. The butterfly effect triggered was also huge. For a time, all embassies stationed in the Wang's Empire sent messages to their countries. The Wang's Empire has detected a monster again. They took out 32 Mechas. Personally, I suggest that they must start to vigorously develop their military forces to prepare for a rainy day. For a time, all the countries that received the news were panicked. Although the monsters are going to the Wang's Empire, they come too frequently, right? Jianmeng Empire, Emperor's Palace. After reading the news discovered by the ambassador to Wangxin, Pussy was immediately angry and said, "Oh, fuck, they actually took out 32 Mechas at once, and our second generation Mechas are still under manufacturing." Angry. The limelight was once again occupied by the Wangxin Empire. He quickly called the research institute and asked, "How were our Mechas? Why are there more and more Mechas in the Wangxin Empire every time they are displayed, but our Mechas have not appeared yet?" "Sorry, our second generation Mechas are too unprecedented, so the manufacturing process will be slower." The person in charge replied. "Oh, fuck, it will be slower again. You always say the same thing." Pussy was furious. "Yes, this mecha is more than 80 meters long, a real humanoid mecha. Fuck, don't tell me it's 500 years. Pooh immediately thought of that idiot Metzen. Metzen's theory is correct. Now we have made a breakthrough in the body of the four-winged lizard beast, which can be applied to neural teaching and power transmission, so the mecha he designed can be completed." The person in charge said again. After saying this, Pussy was stunned, and then he was ecstatic and shouted, "Oh, God, this news is really great. I look forward to the day. Our mecha will definitely be able to blow up the Wangxin mecha with one punch." The eyes of the whole world are watching the Wangxin Empire, and even the satellites of various countries have arrived above the Wangxin Empire. With such a big battle watched by the whole world, after time fermented, one call after another was made to the headquarters of the Wangxin Empire. The phone was blown up. The headquarters responsible for the military of the empire was still in a state of confusion. "A monster has come in. How come I don't know it at all? There is no news from the offshore sonar detection station. This is not good. We must quickly arrange evacuation to protect the safety of the people." So a call was made to the mecha base and asked, "Is there a monster?" "No." Lin Chen said. "Why did all the Mechas fly out at once? Now all the countries in the world know that we have encountered monsters again. A pilot is missing, I sent them out to look for him." Lin Chen said helplessly. Commander's office. "Very good. You are worthy at being the most dazzling new star in the empire. You just want to find someone, and the whole world is in chaos." 2 days later, all 32 Mechas returned to the base. Aya was also found, or she was found on her own initiative. As soon as she got out of the mecha, she was taken to the command room by guards who were armed to the teeth. "Tell me, what's going on?" Jiangshu's voice was a little cold. "My phone is out of battery." At the time, Aya was dressed like a savage, and the cuts on her clothes revealed a white patch, especially on her chest. "Lace. Is this the reason for your willfulness?" Jiangshu frowned slightly and shouted softly. Aya was in a state of extreme doubt and looked at Lin Chen, who was standing at the door. "We were very worried about you during the few days you disappeared." Lin Chen smiled. "Professor Lin, can you charge my phone? It's dead. I found something very strange in Gongjin Mountain, so I've been recording the features, which delayed my return." Aya ignored Jiangshu and took out her phone from her pocket and handed it to Lin Chen. "Go take a shower first." "Yes." After charging, Lin Chen turned on Aya's phone. He flicked through the other party's photo albums and videos, and his face immediately became solemn. "Old Wang, come to my command room, and the journey to the West Four-Man group should also come." Lin Chen used headphones to greet several major scientific researchers in the base. Among them, the journey to the West Four-Man group applied to stay after learning about the VR cabin. After a while, 5 scientific researchers hurried over in confusion. Take a look at these things. Lin Chen used image processing technology to show the videos and pictures in the phone to everyone. The main content on the screen was a black dot the size of a mung bean. It was at a height of 1.5 meters above the ground, illusory, and contrary to common sense, so it should not have appeared. This is. Old Wang sat up from his chair in horror. The 4 members of Journey to the West followed suit, looking at the screen in disbelief. Yes, it should be a singularity. Lin Chen looked solemn. Singularity? Jiangshi was puzzled. It is known that space can be distorted, just like a black hole distorts the surrounding space. When it is distorted to the limit, a singularity will appear, and the singularity will tear the space apart until the space reaches equilibrium. Lin Chen turned around and gave her a scientific explanation. Jiangshi. Chapter 82 Nicholas's Reluctance. It simply means a channel connecting to another planet, abbreviated as a wormhole. I didn't expect that something that has been in theory for a long time actually exists. Lao Wang swallowed his saliva, feeling both surprised and worried. Jiangshi frowned slightly when he said that. In other words, this channel will connect to another world, another planet in the future. The only worry at present is that the technology of the planet must not be too advanced. Otherwise, when 2 civilizations collide, the weaker party will eventually face a catastrophe that is 10,000 times more terrifying than the monsters. Later, she thought of Lin Chen's profound popular science, and immediately looked at him with resentment. Don't worry too much. At present, this singularity is still very unstable. There is a certain probability that it will disappear by itself. Of course, there is also a probability that a channel will really form. However, according to I's observations over the past few days, it will take some time for the channel to form in the worst-case scenario. Lin Chen said. Did those monsters come from this wormhole? Jiangshi asked. The monster's wormhole should be at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Judging from the characteristics of the monster, there is a mysterious force behind it, so the wormhole is a space barrier broken by technology, and this singularity should be purely a space distortion. Lin Chen said. Jiangshi didn't understand it. Should we mention this to the higher-ups? Lao Wang asked. Well, I don't think so for now. Since the worst result of the singularity is to form a channel, it will take a certain amount of time, so we should resist the monster first and actively develop our military strength at the same time. Jiangshi thought about it. Lin Chen nodded and agreed with Jiangshi's words. There were too many uncertain factors in the singularity. There was only a small probability that it would form a channel connecting to the other world, and an even smaller probability that the civilization of the other world would surpass the blue star. Later, Lin Chen plunged into the laboratory and continued to work on the 3 major quantum technologies of the Mecha. A week later, a major and great invention was completed: the particle beam gun. Lao Wang pushed the door in again to report the progress and said, all our Mechas have been perfected, and we have realized a real Mecha army. Has our pilot achieved 1 Mecha per person? Lin Chen asked. Yes, we currently have 16 complete production lines, and we already have more than 80 redundant driving simulators. Lin Chen nodded. It seems that the driving simulators can be sent out. That's right, the scale of recruiting pilots this year is much larger than last year. Hey, what is this? At this time, Lao Wang found the drafts filled with formulas in front of Lin Chen. Particle weapons. Yes, Lao Wang took a breath of air. Take it and have a look, it will be equipped on the Mecha in the future. Lin Chen said. Lao Wang was shocked. Particle weapons are divided into 2 components. 1. Particle beam generation device, mainly including particle source, particle injector, accelerator and other equipment. 2. The energy system is the power source, pulse power supply, of each component of the particle beam weapon. It provides power for the weapon system and is the ammunition depot of the particle beam weapon. If the Mecha is equipped with particle weapons, won't it be invincible in the future? Then Lao Wang excitedly took all the drafts away. That's right, he has to go back quickly, understand the technology in these drafts as quickly as possible, and create a Mecha army with super weapons. This feeling exceeds all sense of accomplishment. After Lao Wang left, Lin Chen got up and went to the hangar. He looked at the nearly 100 redundant driving simulators and fell into deep thought. He thought that the driving simulators could be kept, but since Elsa brought back the news of the singularity, he had to re-examine the situation. After a long time, he had to make a major decision just in case. A new round of recruitment of Mecha pilots. He called Jiangxi, who was something to do as a secretary, and said, "I think it's time to recruit pilots again this year." "Yeah." Jiangxi nodded. "We don't need so many driving simulators. You can find a way to use them," Lin Chen said again. Jiangxi looked at Lin Chen in surprise. The next day, the early military cadets issued a notice when the college entrance examination was imminent, which caused an uproar again. The situation of the appearance of monsters in the department is becoming increasingly severe. This college has introduced a batch of driving simulators. Anyone who passes the training assessment can become a mecha pilot. The primary condition is, not afraid of heights. 300 people will be admitted on a merit basis, and those who fail will be returned to the second choice college. As soon as the news was released, the entire network exploded. Fuck, a new batch of mecha pilots are recruiting again. I want to go, I want to go. Riding a woman is not a skill, riding a mecha is a real skill. Brothers, I'm going to try my luck. If I fail, I can only say that my own conditions are not enough to defend my country. The news spread wider and wider, and began to radiate to the surrounding areas, and gradually spread to the other 13 military academies of the Wangxian Empire. There are a total of 14 military academies in the Wangxian Empire. Except for the First Legion, each legion has a military academy under it, big or small. So after receiving the high-profile news of the Zili military academy, the 13 legion commanders were all depressed and wanted to vomit blood. Why do good things always go to Li Chen Thong? All kinds of envy, jealousy and hatred. Of course, in order to take care of the emotions of other military academies, Jiangxi made it clear about the current situation and cleverly appeased those who were envious and jealous. When foreign countries learned that the Wangxian Empire had begun to recruit Mechas again, they immediately started to move. Is our Polar Empire going to be desolate? Nicholas, the Emperor of Polar Kingdom, sighed deeply while sitting in the car. Looking back to the past, the world was a competition between the Polar Empire and the Jianmeng Empire, in various fields. And the Wangxian Empire was just surviving in the cracks at the time. But I didn't expect that after just a few years, the glory of the Polar Empire is gone, but the Wangxian Empire has been advancing triumphantly, and has the power to surpass the Jianmeng Empire. Now it is recruiting 300 pilots at a time. Even the monsters have begun to look down on the Polar Empire, and would rather attack the weak scum like the Zagaka Kingdom than attack the Polar Empire. The Wangxian Empire has Mechas, the Jianmeng Empire also has Mechas and super weapons, but the Polar Empire has nothing. This is too depressing. Don't worry, brother, our secret research base said that it will give us a surprise today, maybe there will be progress in Mechas. Nicotine on the side comforted. I hope so. Nicholas frowned. Because of the frequent appearance of monsters, the global pattern began to change again. When the first monster appeared, he began to issue orders to develop Mechas. He must seize this opportunity to change the situation. It's just a pity that there has been no news about the Polar Kingdom's Mechas, but news about the Wangxian Empire and the Jianmeng Empire has been coming frequently. Thank you for the 100 book coins reward for the painting, and thank you for your recommendation votes. The author is asking for votes. Chapter 83 Countries begin to compete with each other in driving. Soon, the two brothers, Nicholas and Nicotine, arrived at the secret base of the Polar Empire. This base was once the glory of the Polar Empire, and most of the weapons of the Empire came from here. The security work in the base was done very well, with a guard every 3 steps and a sentry every 5 steps, and there were security guards guarding any blind spots. The scientific researchers came and went, and the atmosphere was once busy. Charles, what do you think is the surprise today? Nicholas looked at the person in charge of the base. Please follow me. Charles led the way in front. After a while, they came to a huge square. The two brothers Nicholas immediately stood there in shock and looked up at the shocking scene in their sight. In the middle of the square, there was a humanoid mecha that was about to be completed. Yes, this is our own mecha. In order to make it, most of the scientists in our empire were gathered here, and even the aerospace engineering was transferred here. Charles smiled. This mecha has a huge body of more than 40 meters. The only disadvantage is that it is a bit bloated. But Nicholas thinks this is a strong performance. Of that specific data? Nicholas asked. Charles showed him the data of the mecha. Mecha data. Name. Alpha. Drivers. 2. Weapons. 2. 2 secondary weapon firemen on shoulders. Height. 42 meters. Weight. 908 tons. The main armor is made of titanium alloy. Weapons. No needle missile guns, laser cutters. Secondary weapons. Shoulder-mounted twin machine guns. Power. Nuclear power, can use thrusters to fly for a short time. Nicotine was overjoyed after reading the mecha data. He patted Charles on the shoulder and said, "Good, good, good. This is a real mecha, a real war weapon." The pocket-sized ones of the Wang's Empire are purely a supplement to the word mecha. And the terrifying killer of the Jianmeng Empire is not worth mentioning. It is just a big spider. The romance of mecha is this kind of weapon with powerful firepower support. It seems that the glory of the Polar Empire is coming again. Nicola immediately devalued the Mechas of the other two empires. "How is its manufacturing speed?" Nicotine asked. "If we build it with all our strength, we can now produce 3 per month, and it will get faster and faster in the future, but the resources consumed will be a bottomless pit that cannot be filled," Charles said. "Don't be afraid, just gather the strength of the empire to build the Alpha. If we don't develop our military strength, our glory will be completely lost." Nicholas is an ambitious emperor. Otherwise, when Jiang Minjian was seriously ill, he would not have transferred 5 legions to the south to wait for the times to change. However, it would have been fine if Jiang Minjian didn't die, but the center of their empire began to unite because of the appearance of the monster. So angry. That night, the Polar Empire held a press conference and announced the recruitment of 500 mecha pilots. Although they were recruiting in their own empire, most of the reporters were reporters from all over the world, and they wanted to show off to the world. Because they are showing the world that the glory of the Polar Empire is still there. It also proves that this is not worse than the Wangxian Empire. The Wangxian Empire is not recruiting 300 pilots, but our Polar Empire is recruiting 500 pilots. Just ask if the Wangxian Empire is angry. At the same time, the Jianmeng Empire. Pussy came to his Jianmeng base in a super good mood. Because everything is going in a good direction, the super weapon energy cannon and the Mecha Terror Killer Force are almost ready. The most important thing is that the second generation of Mecha has made new progress and will be unveiled soon. The Jianmeng Empire finally has a real humanoid mecha. This time, he vowed to give an impeccable show that shocked the world. However, his face immediately sank as soon as he entered the base. A familiar figure appeared in front of him. "Oh, fake, how come you, Metzen, are here?" Pussy was furious, obviously still brooding over this idiot. Metzen said with a depressed face, "Without my appearance, our dangerous wanderer will take at least 500 years to realize." The person in charge of the base also came over and said, "Yes, this time I have to thank Metzen for his help. Our mecha will be completed soon. I want to see the data." Pussy was in a bad mood. Then the data of various mechas were displayed in front of him. Mecha. Dangerous wanderer. Height. 80 meters. Driver. 2 people. Weight. 2,000 tons. Structure. 12-9 nuclear power turbine engine, built-in nuclear reactor. Weapons. I-19 plasma cannon, chainsword, energy cannon. The more Pussy looked at it, the more frightened he became. The more he looked at it, the more he wanted to see it, and finally he shed tears of excitement. Jianmeng Empire finally has its own humanoid mecha. Since the advent of the mecha of Wang's Empire, it has almost become his obsession. Every day, he eagerly hopes that Jianmeng Empire can also come up with a real humanoid mecha. The last generation of mecha horror killers looked at the big spider, and he enjoyed it. At least it was a mecha. But now God, you must be favoring our Jianmeng Empire. Pussy shouted to the sky. This time, he has the confidence to completely kill Wang's mecha. With such a huge body of dangerous wanderer, it will be no problem to blow up Wang's mecha with one punch. In the future, the monster will definitely not come back. Soon, the news that Wang's Empire and Polar Empire recruited pilots also spread to the base one after another. The whole base immediately started to discuss quietly. There was too much news, and Pussy didn't react for a while. Wang's Empire and Polar base are recruiting pilots. Then he sneered. Wang's Empire recruited 300 pilots, which is a lot of people, but after all, they have mechas. But what the hell is the Polar Empire? Others don't know, but Jianmeng Empire knows it very well. They won't listen. The current Polar Empire has been messed up by Jianmeng Empire. What glory in the past, now it's just a fig leaf. This empire is also equipped with mechas. They don't even have a hair of mechas, and they still want to recruit 500 mecha pilots. Fuck, let's not recruit 500 excavator pilots. The scientific researchers behind Pussy also showed disdain. The Polar Empire actually held a press conference to announce to the world that it would recruit 500 pilots. The dangerous wanderer is about to be completed, and we should also recruit pilots," said the person in charge of the base. Pussy sneered and said, "We must recruit mecha pilots. Not only that, but we must spread the news all over the world. We must recruit 800 pilots. We can't lose to the Polar Empire in terms of momentum." "I don't agree. We can't build so many Mechas." The person in charge refused immediately. "I don't care. We will recruit 800 pilots. When I go back, I will hold a press conference to let the whole world know the terribleness of the Jianming Empire and ridicule those old Russians." Pussy was very dissatisfied. Chapter 84 Wangzhen students are just a bunch of unsophisticated people with no driving experience. On the same day, Pussy returned to the Emperor's palace and held a press conference. New slogan: "Gather the power of the world to cultivate mecha elites." Jianming Empire has 800 Mechas made of titanium alloy. The atmosphere of the press conference was very warm at the beginning. A Jianming reporter was very active and asked, "Excuse me, the two empires of Wangzhen and Jidai have successively recruited pilots. What do you think?" Pussy sneered and mocked. "No need to look, it's just petty. Our second generation mecha is a giant mecha with a length of more than 80 meters. The Wangzhen mecha is just a small toy. As for the Jidai Empire, I think they may be recruiting excavator drivers." The opening was mocking, and now Pussy is full of confidence. The whole audience was in an uproar. The reporters all thought of the war fortress that shocked the world. The faces of the Wangzhen reporter and the Jidai reporter were obviously not very good. Is this old guy pretending again? Later, the Jianming reporter asked again, "May I ask if the issue of the Jianming Empire's pilots has been dealt with?" Pussy said to the reporter, "In view of the increasingly severe situation of frequent monster appearances, the Jianming Empire now has the first and second generation of Mechas, so this time we will recruit a total of 800 mecha pilots. It is worthy of being the Jianming Empire. It actually recruited 800 pilots. The strength is incredible. Of course, our Jianming Empire already has 800 invincible Mechas, so naturally we can't be as petty as some empires." Pussy's expression was indifferent, but in fact he began to let himself go again in his heart. Cool. Especially seeing the horrified looks of many reporters, Pussy was very annoyed why he didn't prepare a draft before, otherwise he would have to pretend to be cool today. That night, the news that the Wangzhen Empire recruited mecha pilots, the news that the Polar Empire couldn't stand the loneliness, and the high-profile press conference of the Jianming Empire, the three big news had already radiated to the whole world. Countless people were shocked and confused. Are these three empires fighting each other again? Many people think that the number of mecha pilots recruited by the Wangzhen Empire is reasonable. But what of the Polar Empire and the Jianming Empire? One recruits 500 pilots, and the other recruits 800 pilots. Half of the world's nearly 10 billion people were immediately shocked by the big moves of these two empires. People naturally believe it after bragging too much. Especially the high-profile speeches of these two empires, which almost make everyone believe it. They are worthy of being the two old empires. The strength is really unfathomable. Awesome. That night, many people subconsciously made a bold comparison between the Mechas of the three empires. Although the Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire have always performed quite well, there has never been any news of optimization or the development of the second generation. The Mechas of the Polar Empire belong to the new generation of Mechas, so they should be better than the Wangzhen Mechas in terms of performance. Needless to say, the Mechas of the Jianming Empire are already the second generation. The super weapon energy cannon can blow the Wangzhen mecha into slag with one shot. So after a comparison, people are not optimistic about the Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire. Here, Wangzhen Empire has already started auditioning the mecha pilots who have signed up. According to Jiangxi's idea, they will only recruit from the college entrance examination candidates, not from any army, because the Sage group has the best physical fitness and generally has a high-end culture. After layers of screening, 300 reserve pilots appeared, referred to as trainees. These trainees were not arranged to train in the driving simulator at the first time, but were directly thrown into the military camp of Li Xian's troops. Every day, they carried out devilish training. Day after day, month after month. The boring life once again made people complain. I have been training here for a month, and I haven't even touched a mecha. It would be nice to talk about mecha knowledge. Woo, I am here to be a mecha pilot, not to be a soldier. Every time I see the pilots of the previous class driving Mechas out for training, my heart itches. 300 trainees, divided into 3 rows, were doing physical training, running 4 kilometers with weights, complaining while running. 3 rows of trainees were running near the military camp, and suddenly a jeep drove towards them. "It's Professor Lin." The student leading the team in front exclaimed immediately. For this future direct superior, almost every day someone would tell about Lin Chen's heroic deeds. "Oh my God, Professor Lin took a girl out for a ride. So angry." "What's there to be angry about as a woman?" "I'm angry about why I'm not that girl." The students were talking, and Lin Chen and Jingxi had already driven to these people. "Stand at attention!" Lin Chen shouted with a loudspeaker. "Wah!" The 3 rows of students stopped immediately. "I heard that you have been complaining frequently recently. I asked you what you have to complain about." Lin Chen's voice was cold. No one answered, and they all lowered their heads and looked like they were accepting it humbly. "Do you think you were fighting in the VR cabin? You can die however you want. Driving a mecha requires a high degree of concentration of the body. If your physical fitness can't keep up, what are you talking about driving a mecha?" Lin Chen's voice came again. The scene was quiet for a while, and there was no sound. At this time, Jingxi's voice played a soothing role, saying, "You don't have to be too depressed. According to your current training progress, it won't be long before you'll enter the next round of training, which is the training you have always dreamed of, but you must pay attention to the operation of the mecha." "Can I start mecha training soon?" someone asked. "I guess so." Jingxi smiled mysteriously. "Of course, they can't touch the mecha yet, but they can touch the driving simulation cabin, which is comparable to the scene of driving a real mecha. After these people finish the first round of training, they can use those big coffins for brushing driving experience." Here, the Polar Empire. In the training area of the secret base, a group of hard-working students are also undergoing devilish training. At this time, after nearly 2 months, this country that once wrestled with the Jianming Empire has once again erupted with unparalleled military potential. 4 alphas were born. But the 500 students complained every day. 4 Mechas, each with 4 drivers, how to divide them? Although the huge number of students sounds impressive to the outside world, it is actually very hard. Each student has very little time to actually train the Mechas, and most of the time they just run around the playground like a bull in heat. This is not to mention the daily publicity for the Wang's Empire and the Jianming Empire. For example, the drivers can already skillfully control Mechas to fight, and the drivers have achieved outstanding results and have their own exclusive Mechas. In fact, these are all fake. "Professor Charles, why do we have so few Mechas and so many students? Our 4-person team has been in the base for 2 months, and we have only driven the Alpha for a total of 6 hours. Doubtful and dissatisfied voices filled everyone's heart. "You should be content. According to reliable intelligence, the 300 students from the Wang's Empire have never touched a mecha. At least you have some experience in driving a mecha." Charles, the head of the base, was disgusted. "Oh, I like to hear this news." Everyone was overjoyed. Suddenly, I felt like I was living in heaven, and I immediately felt superior. The students of the Wang's Empire have not touched a mecha yet. The students on my side have all started to try to drive Mechas. In comparison, they are just a bunch of unsophisticated people with no experience in driving Mechas. If we have a joint mecha exercise in the future, won't it be easy to beat the pilots of the Wang's Empire? Brothers and sisters, do you have any rewards and recommendation tickets? I haven't asked you for help these 2 days, and I feel itchy all over again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 85. Confidence is bursting. Please vote for recommendation. The Wang's Empire and the Polar Empire are not the only ones complaining. As one of the 3 major empires with Mechas today, the Jianming Empire is well aware of the influence of Mechas, so the production capacity has exploded, and new era weapons have been manufactured continuously. Statistics of new era weapons manufactured within 2 months. 10 extra large caliber energy cannons. 21st generation mega horror killers, including energy cannons. 3 second generation mega dangerous wanderers, namely dangerous wanderers no. 1, no. 2, and no. 3. However, some weapons have not yet had any technical improvements. The only gratifying thing is that the number of Mechas is increasing continuously, especially the increase in the 2nd generation Mechas. Pussy is very satisfied with this. He smiles at the corners of his mouth when he works every day. He is now looking forward to the arrival of monsters every day, and then it will be time for the second generation Mechas to shine. With the cover of energy cannons and horror killers, all monsters, Mechas, and those excavators of the Polar Empire can be blown up with one punch. After a period of auditions, because the second generation Mechas are too heavy and require 2 people to drive, the 800 mecha trainees were divided into 400 pairs, and the selection has already been completed. The same situation as the Polar Empire, the recruitment of 800 mecha trainees, such a big move and gimmick, deeply shocked the outside world, and everyone felt that the Jianmeng Empire was very awesome. In fact, the Jianmeng Empire is actually very miserable. Among the 800 trainees, only a small number of people can take turns to drive an hour of mecha every day, because driving a mecha is too much for the driver, and there are too many people and not enough time. So most people, most of the time, are doing devilish training. So the experience of driving Mechas is not very superb, but they have trained one by one drivers who are comparable to the king of soldiers. Fuck, I'm really fed up with this kind of life. Someone couldn't bear it anymore and yelled. It's the age of pretending to be cruel, but every day they are training stupidly. How can this be tolerated? They want to pretend to be cruel, drive Mechas to fight monsters, and be admired by celebrities. Oh, fuck, why do we have so many mecha students? At this rate, won't it take several years for us to have all the Mechas? The problem is that 1 hour of driving a mecha can't complete several training contents. Then the 800 students began to vent their dissatisfaction, doubts, etc. After receiving the news from the training base, Pussy immediately rushed over to calm everyone's emotions. I understand your difficulties, but you are the best. Our intelligence department has received intelligence that the students of the Wangxi Empire have not yet touched the mecha, and the situation of the Polar Empire is slightly better. Finally, he even took out the simulation videos that he had prepared long ago. What dangerous wanderers blew up the Wangxi mecha with one punch? What terrifying killers blasted the Wangxi mecha into slag with a round of volleys? The monsters are even more energy cannons. If there are any, then 2 shots. In short, how to appease the emotions of these students, Pussy will blow them up. After a lot of nonsense, the students believed it. Oh, God, we must be living in heaven. The mecha students smiled happily. A comparison shows that the mecha students of Wangxi and Jedi are really 2 groups of bumpkins. Doubts, dissatisfaction and other negative emotions are gone. Self-confidence is unprecedentedly satisfied, and even a kind of mentality that can't wait to go to Wangxi Empire to wipe out all the Mechas. Because the second generation Mechas and dangerous wanderers of Jianmeng Empire are invincible. So you don't have to worry about what's in front of you. Believe me, it won't be long before you will have Mechas to drive. Pussy looked at the students' faces full of fighting spirit and confidence. Unconsciously, he was also infected by this atmosphere. Jianmeng Empire has these geniuses, so there is no need to worry about big things in the future. His self-confidence is very explosive. It seems that Jianmeng Empire can no longer keep a low profile in the future. Here, the seaside outside the mecha base of Wangxi Empire. There are dense reefs here, and the scientific researchers and security personnel of the base have already surrounded the nearby area. Ready, launch. Lin Chen said with a headset. Above everyone, I drove the sky and held a new weapon, the particle beam gun. They came here to experiment with this new weapon. Here. The particle beam gun in the hands of the fierce dragon immediately fired a purple light as thick as a bowl, at an extremely fast speed. One by one, the reefs were pierced, until the beam hit the sea and was submerged by the surging waves. The surroundings immediately became silent, everyone was taking a deep breath, and only the surging ocean was still hitting the reefs again and again. After a long time, the base personnel cheered our particle weapon is successful. This particle weapon is so powerful. According to calculations, the energy shield of the monster is almost the same as the energy of our particle weapon. The combat effectiveness of our Mecha has doubled. So cool, in the future we will be able to protect the world and collect benefits from the world. People cheered wildly. The birth of particle weapons will change the world's pattern. In the current situation where monsters frequently appear to attack humans, with particle beam guns, monsters will no longer be a threat. Okay, since the particle beam gun experiment was successful, go back to the base and speed up production. Lin Chen waved his hand. The days that followed gradually returned to peace. But the calmer the world is, the more the Polar Empire and Jianmeng Empire want to stir up trouble, especially when each new mecha is born. The impulse in their hearts is more difficult to suppress. Especially the former, the Polar Empire, thinking that the Mecha is catching up, always wants to find an opportunity to let the Mecha Alpha perform a shocking show in the world. During this period, the 300 students of the Wang's Empire have entered the second training stage, driving the simulation cabin. Compared with the Jianwang Empire and the Polar Empire, they are taking turns to use Mechas for training, and the driving time is very little. And in Lin Chen's training here, there is no situation where students are unfamiliar with Mechas, and there is no lack of practical experience. Because the base has more than 100 driving simulation cabins, which can be called a magical tool for brushing experience. With just a little training, batches of mecha pilots with combat experience will be created. Today is the first time for the students to try to conduct driving simulation cabin training. After understanding the relevant functions, they entered the driving simulation cabin one after another. The first person was pale and frightened out of it in less than 3 seconds. His legs were so weak from fear that he said, "It's awesome. I feel like I'm driving a real mecha." Others immediately came over and asked excitedly, "How is it? How does it feel?" "It feels great, and this driving simulator is synchronized. I saw the pilots of the previous class fighting monsters in it. Although they were forced to get off the plane after just a quick glance, the trainees were deeply horrified by the driving simulator. There is no difference between training in it and training in driving a mecha, and there will be no accidents. Moreover, multiple driving simulators can be synchronized. Will I be able to fight monsters with the pilots of the previous class in the future? It's so cool, it's simply a magic tool for brushing points." After the first trainee said this, the other trainees couldn't wait any longer. So one by one, they began to enter excitedly, and then after a few seconds, they screamed and backed out. It feels so good. It turns out that riding a mecha can bring a man a truly exhilarating pleasure. I was in for just 5 seconds and I was so scared that I didn't dare to breathe. I came out in 6 seconds, it feels so good. Fuck, I saw the drivers of the previous session showing off all kinds of monsters in the driving simulation cabin. I just saw a mecha using a sword to poke the monsters in us, trying to get in. I guess the driver who can be so mean must be Brother Yichuan. Brothers and sisters, don't forget our agreement. Thank you all. Chapter 86 Pacific Rim Mecha Race, votes requested. The students became more and more excited, and at the end they had to mention Lin Chen. Although it was just the first time to touch the driving simulator and get a preliminary understanding of the structure of the mecha, everyone was deeply impressed by Lin Chen's superb driving skills. As long as he was there, no one dared to claim to be the best in the field of driving Mechas. You said that Professor Lin learned his experience in driving Mechas from here? It should be. I think Professor Lin must be very hardworking. At this time, I just got out of the driving simulator and heard their conversation. She couldn't help but say, "Professor Lin has never trained." TSK, who are you kidding? When everyone heard this, they all doubted it. Professor Lin could drive a mecha to fight monsters without training. I don't believe it. But when they saw that it was the legendary senior sister Aya, they immediately changed their dog-licking appearance, because Aya could be called a goddess among these new students. Professor Lin really has no training. Seeing that it was Aya, a group of male students immediately changed from doubt to surprise. Of course. Aya nodded. But why does he have such superb driving experience? Because Professor Lin's hand speed is unmatched. You haven't experienced it, so you naturally don't know. Aya sneered and left. How could this group of recruits experience the horror of Professor Lin? Everyone nodded as if they understood. It turned out that Professor Lin had unmatched hand speed. Seeing the goddess Aya's admiring look, the students felt that Sister Aya must have experienced Professor Lin's superb driving experience. And a few female students blushed immediately, and they were so shy that they couldn't close their legs. I don't know what they mean by shy. In the hangar of the base, the staff in yellow clothes are working on the mecha. One by one, the Mechas are loaded into the designated area by the crane. Lin Chen appeared in the hangar and asked Lao Wang, who was not far away, "How are our particle beam guns?" Currently we have a total of 107 Mechas, and only equipped with 72 particle beam guns. When talking about the production capacity of the base, Lao Wang was proud. The only drawback is the material problem. This speed is okay, but now that we have long-range weapons, we can't fall behind in particle manufacturing and other particle equipment. Lin Chen said. Lao Wang was speechless for a while. But he was looking forward to it in his heart. That's right, the stronger the combat power of the mecha, the more excited he is. This is a kind of obsessive-compulsive disorder of mecha strength. Lin Chen was whispering with Lao Wang, and this scene attracted the attention of many people. Especially the 4 people from Germany to the west who have been competing with Lao Wang, Lao Sun, Lao Zhu, Lao She, and Lao Bai. The 4 looked at each other and came over tacitly. Lin Chen didn't say anything, turned around and took them to his private laboratory, pointing to 2 piles of drafts that had been prepared long ago. Everyone was horrified. What is this? Particle beam sword and particle barrier, you can also call it particle shield. Lin Chen said. The more they looked at it, the more frightened they were. They all felt that they were obviously technical problems, but they seemed very simple at the moment. So the particle process is so simple. Ha! The world's first particle beam sword will be born from our base. Keep your voices down, I seem to have figured it out. The process of particle weapons is quite complicated. Ever since they read Lin Chen's draft calculations, several people felt that particle weapons were just like this, just child's play. It was simply too simple, especially now that they already had some experience with particle weapons. Don't brag, just say the formula of particle weapons is simple after reading the answer. Lin Chen said. Several people. I hope you can equip our Mechas with perfect particle weapons in the shortest time. Lin Chen said. It's not a big problem, there will be no problem within 2 years. No, within half a year. Lin Chen said. Everyone exclaimed in unison. Within half a year, isn't that too fast? At present, the base is studying monster corpses, building Mechas, building driving simulation cabins, building freezing bombs, and building particle beam guns. If we add the 2 items in today's draft, it will be too difficult. Look at you guys, you're asking for more if you don't have enough. Haven't you heard that falling behind will lead to being beaten? Lin Chen said again, go to work. Avastar once again spent a peaceful month. During this period, the world has not forgotten the disaster brought by the monsters, and is vigorously developing its military strength. Among them, the Jianmeng Empire, the production capacity has exploded again. Except for the lack of breakthrough in quality, the breakthrough in quantity is almost shocking. The scale of the Terror Killer has reached 50, and there are 7 80-meter-tall dangerous wanderers. With so many new weapons, Pussy finally broke out, and he could no longer hold back his restless heart. The last rollover was an accident. This time, the glory will surely shine in every corner of the Jianmeng Empire. We can't be low-key anymore. Pussy's face was full of seriousness, and he looked up and spoke to the Minister of the Interior. Yes, some time ago, there were only 32 Mechas. According to calculations, the number of them Mechas should be around 50, and the number of our first-generation mecha terrorist killers is already the same as theirs, but we had 7 more second-generation Mechas than them. The Minister of the Interior also looked conceited. The world knows nothing about the true power of the Jianmeng Empire. I have decided to show our strength to the world. You can draw up a plan and hand it to me. Pussy smiled. The next day, the Minister of the Interior rushed to make a plan for the Pacific Rim Mecha competition. In view of the fact that the world is in a situation where it is frequently attacked by monsters, the Jianmeng Empire will now take the lead in holding the first Mecha competition. All countries can actively sign up and participate. The competition location the west coast of the Jianmeng Empire. Oh my god, this plan is great. Pussy glanced at it quickly and was immediately overjoyed. This competition can show the strength of the Jianmeng Empire to shock the world, and it can also severely step on the Wangzhen and Polar Empires. It's so cool. As for the participating countries, of course, they are the 3 empires of Jianmeng, Wangzhen and Jebai. If they don't come, haha. Are they scared, cowardly, or admit defeat? Pussy has 10,000 gimmicks to grab the opportunity to promote. And the core purpose of this competition is only one, the mecha must be divided into strong and weak. Let the world see the miracle of the Jianmeng Empire, the second-generation mecha dangerous wanderer, and at the same time, it is necessary to restore the image of the last Jianmeng Empire. Hurry up, I want to hold a press conference to inform the world. Pussy looked excited, and his whole body was shaking slightly with excitement. This time the 3 empires are showing off in front of the global audience, and the final winner will definitely be the Jianmeng Empire. Please vote. Brothers and sisters. In addition, your country, can you tell that it is the country of the devils? Chapter 87a. New storm has emerged. As the Minister of Internal Affairs of Jianmeng Empire rushed around, a grand press conference was held again. At this time, outside the Emperor's palace of Pussy, there were already thousands of reporters. Such a small scene made Pussy slightly dissatisfied. Now Jianwang Empire has the confidence to restore its lost image. If it wants to do something, it must do something big. No matter what, there must be tens of thousands of reporters. After the press conference began, the atmosphere was quiet for a while. Because Pussy faced thousands of reporters and talked freely, it was completely like a personal show of his own. Nowadays, monsters frequently appear and attack human cities. We humans should abandon the past and unite to resist monsters together. As we all know, monsters have intelligence, and now they have not appeared for 3 months, so the next appearance will definitely be a real disaster. Believe me, as long as we unite according to the call of Jianwang Empire, monsters will no longer be scary. The beginning is a fierce blow, and it feels much better after blowing it. Many reporters. The audience of Jianwang Empire. I don't understand the meaning of this press conference at all. The Jianmeng reporter looked embarrassed and reminded at the right time. Excuse me. Excuse me, this press conference. Pussy's expression became serious and said, in view of the fact that the world is frequently attacked by monsters, our Jianmeng Empire will take the lead in holding a mecha competition. All countries can actively participate. The competition time and place will be on the 6th of next month, on the west coast of the Jianmeng Empire. Excuse me, can the mecha competition really be held as scheduled? The reporter from Turkey country looked flattering. It seemed like asking, but it was better to say that he was cleverly currying favor. Because Turkey country is the most loyal younger brother of Jianmeng Empire. It was with the help of Jianmeng Empire that Turkey country was able to successfully provoke Wang's Empire and had the confidence to be the most powerful country in the Middle East for nearly 100 years. This is a mecha competition, and it is also one of our activities to actively resist monsters. If there is no competition, the performance of mecha will stagnate. Pussy smiled. Many reporters thought it was very reasonable. The Turkish reporter asked again, will the mecha competition be fair and just? Of course, the competition was only proposed by the Jianmeng Empire. As for the content of the competition, I'm sorry, we don't know either. In order to convince the world, the content of this competition was drafted by the Secretary General of the World Congress. Pussy smiled. The reporters nodded in unison. As expected of the world's hegemon, he was thoughtful. That night, the news spread all over the world. Because of the appearance of monsters, the world has generally begun to pay attention to Mechas, and the mecha competition proposed by Pussy has undoubtedly become the hottest topic in the world. The Mechas of Jianmeng, Wang Chen, and Jedi are going to compete. I guess there will be no absence. This competition is not only about face, but also about reputation. I heard that many countries are preparing to participate. I want to see with my own eyes which mecha is the most powerful. Many people around the world are talking about it. Similarly, many countries have recalled a major meeting on this matter. The core content of the meeting is also the mecha competition. After discussion, they all made up their minds that they must participate in the mecha competition to see if they can spend a lot of money to buy 2 of the strongest mechas. The Kingdom of Garka. After receiving the news, Lungamo's face immediately showed a strong unwillingness. It was originally thought that the war fortress would become a miracle in the world, but in the end it turned over and became a joke in the world. So he immediately set out to the secret base of the Kingdom of Garka. The war fortress has become a joke, but the Kingdom of Garka has endured hardships and its real power has exploded. After the war fortress became scrap metal, a week of resources were integrated and the second generation of mechas officially began to be manufactured. In the center of the secret base is a giant mecha under construction. This is a manifestation of the progress of the Kingdom of Garka in the field of mechas. But for some reason, the manufacturing of mechas has stopped. Why not manufacture it? Lungamo asked the person in charge in confusion. We are running low on resources. The second batch of related equipment purchased from the Wang's Empire has not been delivered yet. How many excavators did you buy this time? 16 excavators, and they heard that we were building mechas, so they specially gave us a forklift. The person in charge was delighted. Lungamo nodded in annoyance. The reason why we use excavators to build mechas is because there are no technical difficulties. If we had the technology of the Wang's Empire, who would use excavators to build mechas? We would have built a mecha that can accommodate hundreds of people to show off to the world. In short, using excavators to build mechas is full of bitter chairs, and it is proof of the backwardness of the technology of the Gaka Kingdom. It's a pity that even if a mecha like ours is built, it will be the last one to participate in the mecha competition. Lunamo looked annoyed. It would be the last one to go, so it's better not to lose face. At the same time, Emperor Nicholas of the Polar Kingdom received the news of the mecha competition. Well, old Pussy wants to show off his power by taking advantage of this mecha competition. I think he doesn't take our Polar Empire's mecha seriously at all. Nicholas sneered. That's right, the Polar Empire and the Jianmeng Empire are naturally hostile forces. As long as the Jianmeng Empire wants to do something, it always wants to sabotage it. Since that old guy Pussy is holding a mecha competition, we can take this opportunity to beat him up. This time, we must let him know that there is a price to pay for pretending in front of the Polar Empire. We must participate, otherwise, with the usual character of that old guy Pussy, he will start to take advantage of the topic and say that we are scared and afraid. Nicholas's younger brother Nicotine spoke slowly. That's right, we currently have more than 10 mecha alphas. This time we will send 5 to show our strength to the world to participate in the competition. Only in this way will other countries give us the opportunity to blackmail us. Nicholas had long seen what kind of situation the appearance of monsters would cause, otherwise he would not have vigorously developed mecha power. If you have a mecha, you are eligible to collect protection fees. If you don't have a mecha, you can only be blackmailed and slaughtered by others. In fact, the Wangzhe Empire has the same idea as the Polar Empire. After receiving the mecha competition announced by Pussy, the base discussed it and finally decided that the mecha competition must not be missed. Because this is a good opportunity. Only by showing enough strength can there be a steady stream of trading for materials in the future. So in the end, the two Mechas, Fierce Dragon and Black Dragon Z1, were dispatched and escorted to the west coast of the Jianmeng Empire by the Kalin aircraft carrier fleet of the 3rd Legion. At the same time, deep in the Pacific Ocean, the channel connecting to the other dimension, after being silent for 3 months, appeared strange again. A monster that subverted people's cognition appeared at some point, just like a clay sculpture or a wooden sculpture, guarding this channel connecting to the other dimension. And monsters began to be teleported from the other dimension space to the channel, one after another. Of course, none of this has been anticipated or discovered, because the Jianmeng Empire's Pussy just happened to release a super large smoke bomb at the right time and successfully attracted the world's attention. People are preparing for the mecha competition. But a new storm has appeared. I'm having a headache today, I'm sorry everyone, please forgive me. Chapter 88. Pacific Rim Mecha Race begins. An unprecedented crisis is brewing at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. People still don't know until the beginning of the month, when they waited for 2 days and saw that the monster did not appear again. At the same time, all countries began to march towards the Jianmeng Empire. Large and small warships kept appearing on the sea surface. They were all ready to see which of the 3 empires' Mechas were stronger and weaker. At the same time, they were also interested in buying 2 machines to study by themselves and not asking for help in the future. Compared with the tension of other countries, the Wangzhe Empire was still a peaceful atmosphere. Although the empire's Mechas have always been low-key, every battle record can be described as a complete victory, so the Mechas have been subtly influenced by everyone. What is there to be afraid of monsters? The empire's Mechas are fully capable of easily turning the monsters upside down. For example, during class in a certain elementary school, a child secretly took out a toy Jinlong from his school bag and played with it happily. The other little students were crying with greed. For example, every time a mecha toy is released, it will be sold out immediately. These are the best proofs that the empire is not afraid of monsters at all. The 4th day of the month. The Kalin aircraft carrier fleet of the Wangzhe Empire arrived at the port of Jinshi, and people going to the Jianmeng Empire began to set off from Jijie City and Guodu. In the sky, 2 Mechas that were going to participate in the competition landed on the Kalin aircraft carrier and were slowly carried into the aircraft carrier's hangar. Then, more than 20 warships of various sizes in the aircraft carrier fleet covered the aircraft carrier and sailed towards the Jianmeng Empire. The warships were breaking through the waves. The base and others had a rare time to relax. Jiang Shahid immediately because Jiang Minjiwan's children and Queen Jifu were accompanying them this time. She felt sick when she saw those ugly faces. At first, Lin Chen didn't quite understand Jiangxi's strangeness, but now he understands, and he is being annoyed by Jiang. He wanted to ask Aya for a used sanitary napkin to stuff into Jiang's mouth. They are all the children of the same father, why are they so different? One knows what to do and what not to do, and the other has been talking non-stop since he got on the ship. This is my first time making a warship. Professor Lin, can our Mecha win this time? I'm very nervous now, and my heart is pounding. Jiang spoke in a coquettish voice, pulling Lin Chen to ask questions, and constantly trying to get close to him. Now, stay away from me immediately. I need to rest. I don't have time to talk to you here. Lin Chen couldn't bear it anymore. Jiang's face changed, and jealousy rose again. Am I not good enough? Why did Lin Chen talk and laugh with that wild girl, but find me annoying? Fortunately, this time didn't last long. The next day, the fleet arrived at the west coast of the Jianmeng Empire smoothly. At this time, the ports on the west coast were densely populated with warships, and the Kalin aircraft carrier formation was anchored in a more remote place. As soon as the group arrived at the competition site, they were immediately shocked by the atmosphere on the scene. There were 3 Mechas with a height of more than 80 meters at the competition site. These 3 Mechas were undoubtedly the focus of attention. Anyone under their feet would have a small sense of inferiority and powerlessness. People from all countries also paid attention to the 3 second-generation Mechas of the Jianmeng Empire. On one side were several spider-like killers. Although they were beaten into scrap metal by the monster last time, they still attracted a lot of attention. On the other side were the 5 Mechas of the Polar Empire. They were nearly 40 meters tall and their strength should not be underestimated. They were bloated like a fat man, so many people thought that this was a sign of strength. In fact, it was caused by insufficient technology. Swoosh. Transformation. 2 more humanoid Mechas landed in the designated area with the flag of the ground navigator. The transformation scene immediately attracted comments from various countries. The Wangzhen Mecha is really awesome. Every time I see it transform, I get excited. The Wangzhen Mecha used to be the most powerful, but it has never been improved or replaced. The times are different, and the power is different. It's like a tank. It was invincible 200 years ago, but is it still invincible now? I think the Mecha of the Polar Empire is the most powerful. The thickness of the armor is probably enough to fight against monsters. I think the second-generation Mecha of the Jianmeng Empire is more powerful, full of black technology. In the sight, the Mecha of the Wangzhen Empire is much more stingy. Not only is it small, it only has 2, but it is also like a pocket-sized toy. People from various countries expressed their opinions, and most people began to be pessimistic about the Wangzhen Mecha. Mecha is like a mobile phone. Only continuous improvement and replacement can keep up with the market. Undoubtedly, the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire have done it, while the Wangzhen Empire is still in the old dream of being invincible. Of course, there are a few countries that are optimistic about Wangzhen Mecha, and these countries have always been on good terms with Wangzhen Empire, such as Kiba Country, Dianu Country, etc. Hi, Professor Lin, long time no see. At this time, Lungama was the first to bring people up and greeted with a smile. Long time no see. Lin Chen smiled. Lungama smiled and said, your girlfriend is so beautiful. Lin Chen. Hello, Mr. Lungamo, I'm Jiangxi, the eldest princess of Wangzhen Empire. Jiangxi introduced herself generously. Sorry. It's okay, Mr. Pussy had the same misunderstanding last time. The 3 of them talked and laughed. In general, the atmosphere of this Pacific Rim Mecha competition is very lively, and almost all the celebrities in the world have arrived. Especially on the other side, Pussy and Nicholas have already started to confront each other. The 2 seem to have some grudges. They started to sneer at each other since they met, and they held on to each other's pigtails tightly. People from all countries expressed helplessness. The next day, the much-anticipated Mecha competition was about to begin. At this moment, the Jianmeng Empire, which was full of confidence, would naturally not miss this opportunity to publicize and slap others in the face. Satellites were dispatched. All major TV stations around the world could watch. And 10 military helicopters carrying live reporters were waiting at various locations, ready to broadcast to the world simultaneously. With strong self-confidence, Pussy never thought that the Jianmeng Empire would lose this time. At the same time, Emperor Nicholas of the Polar Empire was also unwilling to be outdone. Military satellites were dispatched. Fuck, Nicholas, you idiot finally did the right thing. Pussy sneered and did not stop him, because Nicholas, the idiot, was promoting himself. Later, the competition officially began. People from all countries were looking forward to the final result, and they were also curious about what the content of this competition was. Secretary General Lazkolola was also the referee, so there was almost no questioning. He first went on stage to give a speech, and then Lanzine announced, Now I announce that the content of the Mecha competition is ground racing, defenser, mobility and other competition items. Suddenly, the faces of Lin Chen and the other base personnel changed. Please vote, everyone. The author is about to be dropped from the free list. I have already fainted in the toilet crying. Chapter 89. Wang's Empire fouled. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire were born for battle and only suitable for battle. As for the competition items just announced, except for the one for mobility, the Wang's Mechas will never win. But if it is a competition like Mecha confrontation, not only Lin Chen, but also foreign ministers and leaders to pat his chest and guarantee that he will win this time. However, what are these competition items? There is actually a ground race. Is it a robot race? Look at the huge heights of the Polar Empire and the Jianmeng Empire. How can they chase them in one step? It's better to admit defeat directly. Uncle Zhen, ask Lasek Holola if you can change some competition items. Jiangxia said to Xinglai. Xinglai nodded, and immediately went on stage to explain the situation and asked to change the content of the competition. Secretary General Lasek Holola understands the reason. I'm sorry, I understand your feelings, but you can't ask me to find a few monsters for you to compete. Other than that, Lasek Holola really can't find any better competition items. Mecha confrontation? It's totally impossible. If the mecha is blown up, wouldn't it be a mecha war? Xinglai came back frustrated and explained the situation to Lin Chen and others. Jiangxia frowned slightly. Lin Chen said, let's have a competition first. If it doesn't work, just admit defeat. The competition started and everyone took their positions. The atmosphere at the scene was quiet for a while. Lasek Holola raised his pistol and said loudly, the first item is ground racing. You must return to the hillside 5 kilometers away and bring back a red flag. You're required not to leave the ground. Violators will be punished. Ready to start? Bang! The gunshot represented the start. The Mechas of the three empires ran separately. Undoubtedly, the most promising mecha was the dangerous wanderer of the Jianmeng Empire. Its huge body had a distance of more than 10 meters every time it took a step. With its rapid movement, the scene seemed to be an earthquake. The Alpha of the Polar Empire followed closely behind. As for the Wangxin mecha, it was left behind at the beginning of the competition. When people were marveling at the strength of the Wangxin mecha, the bottom of the Pacific Ocean changed again. After the appearance of one monster after another, the energy at the channel connecting the other dimension began to dissipate. If there were more monsters, they could only wait for the energy at the channel to be replenished. But after a long period of arrival, the number of monsters has reached a very terrifying number, and the dark seabed is full of hideous and hateful eyes. Then they began to move towards the mainland. Because the offshore sonar detection station is only available near the coast, people are still unaware of all this and do not know that a new storm has appeared. The Pacific Rim Mecha competition is still being held as scheduled. The atmosphere on the scene is quite lively. Because the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire are competing with each other, more than 2 billion viewers around the world are closely watching this first mecha competition in human history. In the picture cast by the satellite, the second-generation mecha dangerous flower of the Jianmeng Empire is far ahead, followed by the Alpha of the Polar Empire, and behind it is a large spider horror killer. As for the Fierce Dragon and Black Dragon Z1 of the Wangxi Empire, they were already being left behind. Why is the speed of the Wangxi mecha so slow? Oh, God, it's worthy at being the Jianmeng Empire. The huge mecha is enough to crush everything. Is the Alpha of the Polar Empire having diarrhea? Why is it running so slowly? Chase it hard. Audiences around the world are watching the west coast of the Jianmeng Empire through the free signal. This Pacific Rim Mecha competition is almost as eye-catching as the monster attack on the human city. At the scene, Nicholas's face became more and more gloomy, seeing that the three dangerous wanderers were running farther and farther. This won't work. Doesn't it mean that the Polar Empire is not as good as the Jianmeng Empire? He immediately became furious and shouted into the headset. Chase them, use our trick, rolling ball collision. The 5 alphas received the order, using their bloated bodies to shrink into a huge metal ball, rolling forward quickly and chasing the 3 dangerous wanderers in front. Destroy and crush all the way. The shock caused by it immediately made the prominent figures of various countries cast their horrified eyes towards the alpha, and everyone's mouth was already opened in a knot shape. With such a powerful move, I'm afraid that even a monster would be hit half to death. It seems that the glory of the Polar Empire is still there. Oh, fuck, you old Russian broke the rules. Pussy was furious. Get lost, you idiot. The standard of this competition is that as long as the mecha does not leave the ground, you know shit. Nicholas' face was full of contempt. At this time, the two Mechas of the Wang's Empire had been left far behind. Lin Chen said through the headset. Take off, fighter form, full power. Li Long and Black Dragon Z1 stopped running and quickly took off. Transformation. Fighter form, full power. The blue tail flames of the biplane thrusters began to surge. Swoosh. The two Mechas disappeared in an instant. Everyone at the scene. Nicholas and Pussy looked at each other and turned their guns tacitly. Foul. Foul. The mecha of the Wang's Empire committed a foul. This is a ground race, not an air race. This competition has clear rules. The ground race is a race of running speed on the ground. How can the mecha of the Wang's Empire fly? Bullying their own Mechas for not being so flexible, right? After a while, all the Mechas returned 5 kilometers. There was a burst of discussion everywhere on the scene. Because the mecha of the Wang's Empire committed a foul. The referee Lasek Holola came out and announced. The results will be announced below. The first place is the Alpha of the Polar Empire, the second place is the Dangerous Wanderer of the Jianmeng Empire, and the third place is the Terror Killer. The Wang's Empire committed a foul and no score will be given. At this moment, hearing that the Wang's Empire committed a foul, some countries that were hostile to the Wang's Empire immediately showed funny expressions. The audience around the world stared at the screen in a daze. Some did not react, and their minds were full of thoughts about whether the Wang's Empire committed a foul. Excuse me, what is the meaning of this mecha competition? Why is flying a foul? Jiangshi was the first to question. Through the conversation with his assistant, Lasek Holola knew Jiangshi's identity. He smiled and said, Miss Ship, please understand our difficulties. Because the mecha has just been launched, we don't understand it, so we use these safer competition items, which are mainly to test the performance of various aspects. It was reasonable and everyone couldn't find any excuse to refute it. Many people at the scene were silent. Lasek Holola smiled apologetically at Jiangshi and continued to say loudly, the second competition will be held next. The competition item is the defensor of the mecha. The content is, hearing the content of the competition, Pussy and Nicholas smiled, obviously confident about the defensor of the mecha. But Lin Chen and others were completely different. The more he listened, the more unnatural his face became. After a long time, Lin Chen stretched out his right hand, and said loudly, wait a minute. I know that I update slowly, much slower than the books of the same period. But I want to say that starting from tomorrow, I will add more, so can everyone keep the recommendation votes for this book. I ask for everything for the new book. I feel sad and upset because I was targeted and reported by trolls, which led to many changes later. Otherwise, our results would have been much better. Chapter 90. Monsters are just a bunch of wild monsters that come to give away points. Many people looked over, their doubtful eyes all focused on Lin Chen. Lasek Holola smiled and said, you are Mr. Lin Chen, right? I have seen you in the photo. I didn't expect you to be more handsome than in the photo. Lin Chen glanced at the people around him, and no one spoke. Only Jiangshi nodded. I admit defeat on behalf of the Wang's Empire. Lin Chen continued. He thought there was no need to continue this competition. When I came here before, I thought it would be easy to win a great victory, and all kinds of Mechas were displayed. However, who would have thought that they were all some useless competition items? The full name of the Wang's Mecha is Paramal, which is the ultimate weapon. If you participate in such a catwalk competition, you will never win. It's like a female warrior who has experienced the baptism of blood and fire, and is suddenly pulled to the fashion week to walk the catwalk. Can a female warrior win? No. The entire competition site was silent. Hearing that Lin Chen directly admitted defeat on behalf of the Wang's Empire, many people didn't react. Is this a sign that their Mechas are really going to be eliminated? At this moment, the Jianmeng Empire broadcast live, and also pushed what happened on the scene to every corner of the world. The world was in an uproar. In the mecha competition of the three empires, the Wang's Empire actually gave up directly in the case of a foul. To say that the happiest people at this moment are Nicholas and Pussy. One finally proved to the world that the glory of the Polar Empire is still there, and the other finally restored the image of the world hegemon of the Jianmeng Empire. Although they thought so in their hearts, the two still walked over with sympathy on their faces. Hello, Lin Chen, we meet again this time. I personally sympathize with you for announcing your withdrawal from the competition. After all, the dangerous wanderers of our Jianmeng Empire are too strong, and your mecha is completely a pocket-sized toy. Pussy showed sympathy at first, but it was really hard to hide it later, and he showed off nakedly. Hello Lin Chen, I have a good relationship with your General Yanming, but public is public and private is private. I think you made a very correct decision to announce your withdrawal from the competition. You know, the alpha of our polar empire is the strongest mecha in the world. Nicholas also showed a conceited look. Pussy was dissatisfied. Oh, fuck, what are you talking about, Nicholas, you idiot? At the same time, countless people in the Wang's empire were in disbelief, staring at the TV in the daze. Why did he admit defeat on behalf of the empire? I don't accept it, it's a crap competition. If we fight alone, we will definitely beat them. I thought our mecha would win, but it's a foul. Our mecha is a combat mecha, not a performance mecha. The people of the empire complained like crazy. Of course, Lin Chen was not aware of the complaints in the country. After ordering the mecha to return to the aircraft carrier, he continued to watch the remaining competitions. The Pacific Rim mecha competition did not end because of the withdrawal of the Wang's empire, and it still had to go on. With one less opponent, the competition between Pussy and Nicholas has not ended yet. The Mechas of the two hostile empires are competing, and Pussy and Nicholas are not idle either. Since the two old rivals met yesterday, they have been frequently mocking each other, which is comparable to a real-life mecha competition. The other countries standing not far away were speechless. Near dusk, the first mecha competition in the world's history came to an end. Secretary General Lasek Holola solemnly announced on the spot. In view of the results of the competition, after careful consideration and repeated consideration, I finally had to announce a fair and just result. The dangerous wanderer owned the alpha each won and lost, so they won together. As the results were announced, Pussy and Nicholas were dumbfounded. They were both first. They immediately felt as disgusted as if they had eaten a mouthful of flies. Lin Chen and others, except for Foreign Ministers Lai, immediately returned to the aircraft carrier. They had nothing to look forward to for the evening banquet. At night, at a banquet held on the west coast, Pussy and Nicholas sat face to face, both of them were unhappy. Originally, they wanted to win the first place and slap each other in the face, but such a result was too unacceptable. Thinking deeply, the two sighed together. It would be great if a monster appeared at this time. Since the mecha competition can't determine the winner, then the winner can be determined by fighting monsters. Otherwise, pretending to be cool is not enough. But no one noticed the strangeness of Emperor Samuel Turkey during the banquet. He had been talking quietly with his secretary since the beginning of the banquet, and his face became more and more solemn as he talked. Finally, he simply stood up and made a phone call. After a while, Emperor Samuel Turkey hurried back, without hiding anything, and said in a deep voice, "Everyone, please be quiet." The banquet suddenly became quiet. Just now, our Turkey Kingdom's 11th Marine Sonar Monitoring Station detected the signs of a monster. Suddenly, the whole audience was in an uproar. What? A monster is coming again. This monster has not appeared for 3 months, so the severity must be beyond the past. Damn it, why can't we grasp the specific information of the monster at all, and can only passively resist? Many people at the scene changed color when they heard the news that the monster appeared again. The appearance of a monster in such a long time like 3 months must be an unimaginable disaster. People in the surrounding areas of Turkey Kingdom were even more restless. If Turkey Kingdom failed to stop the monster, there were also some calm people at the scene. At this time, they thought of Mechas. You know, there are 3 empires present with Mechas. The strength of mankind is no longer what it used to be. Aren't them Mechas present? What are you afraid of? The Mechas of the 3 empires can't beat the monsters. The panicked people's eyes lit up. Yes, with Mechas, what is there to be afraid of monsters? Everyone still remembers the bragging of Pussy and Nicholas before. What dangerous wanderer can blow up the monster with one punch? What alpha can rely on its solid armor to face the monster? As long as the invincible Mechas arrive in Turkey Kingdom, monsters will no longer be a disaster. Ha, they are just a group of wild monsters who come to give points. Pussy and Nicholas smiled tacitly. Only those with Mechas are eligible to collect protection fees, and those without Mechas can only wait to be slaughtered. When Xinglai heard the news, he immediately returned to the aircraft carrier. Prepared to pass this exciting news back, and then wait for the Turkey Emperor Samuel to come and ask for help, then we can avenge the humiliation of the Navy and the Minister of Foreign Affairs 100 years ago. Of course, Xinglai didn't know that after he left, The Turkey Empire didn't even think about asking for help from the Wangxian Empire. On the one hand, the grievances between the two countries have a long history. On the other hand, instead of asking for the first place Mecha, we ask for help from the Mecha that gave up the game because of violations. What a joke. Thanks to Chenmo, Hangover, Xiaobing, Feilong for the rewards, and everyone's recommendation votes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Chapter 91. Why don't you come to us for help? Please vote, please. The Emperor of Turkey, Samu, is not stupid, and he is well aware of the grievances between himself and the Wangxian Empire. So even if he asks for the Wangxian Mecha, the required remuneration will be an astronomical figure, and the Jianming Empire and the Polar Empire are different. The two are competing with each other and will only squeeze each other to the lowest remuneration. What if it is really like Pussy and Nicholas boasted that they can beat the monsters in various ways? Even if these two empires are overturned, it will not be too late to ask the Wangxian Empire for help. So Samu chose to ask for help from the Jianming Empire and the Polar Empire without hesitation. At the same time, Xinglai returned to the aircraft carrier as if he had taken medicine. He was impatient to summon everyone and excitedly explained the news that the monster appeared and was going to attack Turkey. Are you so excited? Lin Chen was puzzled. The monster appeared and attacked Turkey. Question mark. Lin Chen. The Navy and Foreign Affairs officials of the Empire have always been unfriendly to Turkey, and Xinglai was from the Navy before. The captain of the Kalin aircraft carrier explained with a smile. Question mark. Lin Chen's mind was completely confused. Jian he didn't even understand what was being said. When the Imperial Navy was first established, the predecessors of the Empire bought a prototype aircraft carrier from the Ilan Kingdom. When passing through the Turkey Strait, they were forcibly ordered to return to the Black Sea by the Turkey Kingdom. Later, the prototype aircraft carrier tried to pass through the strait again, but was blocked by the Turkey Kingdom again and refused to pass. Xinglai explained. Finally, with the help of the Dianya Kingdom, the Empire provided a lot of technology and funds to Turkey Kingdom to ship the prototype aircraft carrier back. At the time, the Imperial Navy and the Foreign Affairs Department officials once became the laughing stock of the world. Jiang Shi added a sentence later. After hearing this, Lin Chen understood that it was the grievances of the Empire in the past. Jiang Shi blinked her eyes, full of confusion. She had been studying etiquette and how to be more like a princess for many years, but she didn't understand these at all, and she was never interested in these. Later, a group of people negotiated a reasonable price for remuneration. 500 tons of gold, 2,000 tons of silver, and various heavy metals. Then half an hour passed. A group of people sat on the aircraft carrier and waited for a long time, but they didn't wait for any news about Turkey Kingdom. Everyone looked at Xinglai depressedly. What's going on? Didn't they say that the monsters were going to attack Turkey Kingdom? Xinglai also looked depressed. The monsters were going to attack Turkey Kingdom. Why was the old guy Samu so calm, or did the old guy have diarrhea on the way? The reward has been discussed. As long as they come and agree to the reward, we will go to fight the monsters. At this time, Xinglai, the captain of the Kalin aircraft carrier, hoped that the old guy Samu would come quickly, or send a car to pick him up. They were almost unable to bear the desire for revenge. In the end, Xinglai called the embassy in Turkey Kingdom, explained the situation, and quickly went to the center of Turkey Kingdom to see why they didn't come to seek help from the Empire. Another half an hour passed. The ambassador to Turkey called and said, "I'm sorry. I just communicated with Turkey on behalf of the embassy. They said that the reward they paid was too much. Because of the competition, they believed that Jianming Empire and Polar Empire were more capable of destroying monsters. Everyone, go home." The Kalin aircraft carrier fleet turned around and returned to the Empire. This side. A temporary reception room. Pussy was very unhappy to see Nicholas stealing his business. "Samu, you should know the strength of our Mecha Alpha. It is no problem to fight against monsters. You need to not and agree to pay the reward I mentioned." "I understand." Samu was tempted, but he wanted a cheaper reward. "Fuck, our Jianming Empire is cheaper. Dangerous Wanderer can easily blow up monsters with one punch." Pussy was very dissatisfied. He was about to be impatient to show off in front of the global audience. If he missed this opportunity to show off in front of the world, he would feel very uncomfortable. Samu suddenly wanted to seek help from the Jianming Empire, but after thinking about it, a perfect idea came to his mind. "How about we ask for help from both of you in Turkey Kingdom? In this way, we can also relieve the remuneration." Similarly, the Mechas of your two empires can also relieve the pressure and destroy the monsters to determine the superiority. Nicholas and Pussy both heard each other's intentions, and agreed without any hesitation, without caring about each other's little thoughts. Both of them need to use this battle to prove whose Mecha is the most powerful. Samuel is relieved. As long as the other party agrees. Compared with the remuneration, he felt that it was not a loss, not at all, because the remuneration proposed by the Wang's Empire was too harsh, which was more than twice the total remuneration of the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire. Fortunately, he did not seek help from the Wangxian Empire. Samuel couldn't help but give an unprecedented praise to his own wit. Later, the two empires began to prepare. When connected to the monitoring station data of Turkey Kingdom and seeing the huge vital signs, Pussy and Nicholas both took a breath. There are nearly 100 of them with densely packed vital signs. Now I can finally show off. It is estimated that the time monster will land in Yulin City in 36 hours. This time is not very sufficient, nor is it urgent. Nicholas immediately ordered to arrange all alphas to go to Turkey Kingdom to participate in the war. The monster must be annihilated in one fell swoop, so that the whole world knows that the Polar Empire has not fallen. And Pussy is even more generous, with energy cannons, mecha horror killers, and dangerous wanderers all dispatched. This battle, this time and pretending must not fail. The news that Turkey Kingdom is about to be attacked by monsters soon swept the world like a hurricane, attracting everyone's attention. Whether it is the Polar Empire or the Jianmeng Empire, they are full of confidence in this show at full and sending Mechas to participate in the war to eliminate monsters. In order to achieve a better viewing effect and better demonstrate the strength of the Empire's Mechas, all military satellites of the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire are dispatched. Signals are continuously transmitted to the world 24 hours a day. The scale of this event is unprecedented. The two empires jointly sent out Mechas to destroy the monsters, and they were also competing for the title of the No. 1 Mecha. The number of online viewers soared. According to statistics, more than 2 billion people watched this unprecedented battle event, which attracted global attention. Of course, neither the Turkey Kingdom nor the global audience had anything to worry about this monster attack. After all, during the previous Pacific Rim Mecha competition, people still remembered the bold words of Pussy and Nicola. They brag about it every day, and people have been almost brainwashed by the old guy Pussy. Now suddenly another Nicola comes out and brags about it with Pussy. Is there any reason for people not to believe it? Please, please, please. Brothers and sisters, please vote for this book. The author is almost jealous. 2 books were put on the free list today, but we are still in the 8th place and still can't see it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 92. A new giant monster that looks like a bull and a frog. The Mechas of Jianmeng Empire and Polar Empire have been transported to Turkey Kingdom. On the seashore 20 kilometers away from Yulin City, there stand Mechas comparable to giant sculptures. Each mecha is full of visual impact, and the best drivers inside are adjusting their excited mentality, waiting for the monster to appear. In order to have an exciting effect, Pussy and Nicholas also came, and they were in the capital of Turkey Kingdom. They want to see with their own eyes how the monster is blown up by the mecha. Pussy stood in the temporary residence of the capital of Turkey Kingdom with a relaxed look, watching the majestic dangerous wanderers on TV with interest. This battle will rewrite human history. He looked relaxed and never thought that he would lose this battle, because there are not only the second-generation mecha dangerous wanderers, but also all the terrorist killers and 10 large-caliber energy cannons. The caliber of millimeters does not exist. This is a modified 1-meter caliber energy cannon. There is no monster that cannot be solved by 1 shot. If there is, then 2 shots. Give the order, let our soldiers find a way to kill those losers when the war starts. The losers refer to the 10 alpha Mechas of the Polar Empire, which are said to be able to fight against monsters. Pussy is eager to see how powerful the energy cannon is against the Mechas. Soon, the press conference held by Emperor Samuel of Turkey began. Pussy and Nicholas were interviewed on the spot as guests. The two began to persuade the residents of Yulin City to evacuate, and then they began to compete with each other on the spot, bragging about all kinds of things. In short, it's okay to be stronger than the other party, so monsters are belittled in various ways, and various invincible versions of their own Mechas are born. What dangerous wanderers are equipped with super weapons, plasma cannons that can kill monsters in seconds. What alpha is equipped with a useless missile cannon, which can let monsters know what the baptism of artillery shells is? The powerful aura and confidence of the two instantly infected many people, and also infected the vast majority of Turkey people through TV. Originally, Julan City was the first city where the monsters landed. When the residents heard that the monsters were coming, they prepared to flee immediately. However, after seeing the speeches of Pussy and Nicholas on TV, they could not help but feel that they would die if the monsters came. Some people hesitated for a while, and then returned home to wait for the news that the monsters were tortured to death, or returned to the factory to continue working. Evacuate Julan City. Why evacuate? With the protection of the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire, the safety of every corner of Turkey Kingdom can be guaranteed. But the more this happened, the more the Emperor of Turkey Kingdom, Samu, felt a strong sense of uneasiness. He seemed to have seen the amazing speech of Lungamo that shocked the world. He also saw the bold words of the old man Pussy in front of the world. In fact, whether it was Lungamo or Pussy, the more they pretended to be cool in the front, the more they turned over later. Now, Pussy and Nicholas, the brothers, are pretending to be awesome and bragging together unprecedentedly. Samu, who was worried, stopped the press conference and called the Minister of Foreign Affairs, whispering, "Let's contact the Wangxi Empire to see what their attitude is." After a while, the Minister of Foreign Affairs came back in a hurry and whispered, "They said that if there is any accident, they can come to support us, but they have to increase the price by double." I thought it was buying pork, but they want to increase the price. Samu was furious. After the price increase, it was 1,000 tons of gold and 4,000 tons of silver. These together are at least 20 years of reserve resources for Turkey Kingdom. Damn Wangxi Empire. The Mechas of Jianmeng Empire and Polar Empire can definitely destroy monsters. Samu snorted. Anyway, he didn't want to lower his head and become a laughing stock of the world, and he didn't want Turkey Kingdom to be unable to recover from now on. However, the slap in the face came quickly. 3 hours later, monsters began to appear. Black shadows began to appear on the sea level, and dense monsters landed. Just as the news from the sonar detection station, there were nearly 100 of them. Lizard beast, 2-winged lizard beast, 4-winged lizard beast, but Pussy and Nicholas were not afraid at all. Excellent pilots and excellent Mechas were enough to crush everything. Even the best pilots of the two empires did not take these monsters seriously. Isn't it easy for the first place in the Mecha competition to kill a few monsters? At this moment, they were eager to show the impressive strength of the Mechas in front of the global audience. They wanted to prove to the world that the Mechas of the Wangxi Empire had fallen, just like the British Empire. The powerful firepower and the bold words of Pussy and Nicholas made every driver full of blind confidence. Wait, once the war starts, we can turn all the monsters upside down. At this time, the last monster appeared and immediately attracted the attention of people all over the world. A monster that looked like a bull and a frog appeared. The huge body was twice the size of a 4-winged lizard, and the huge volume of nearly 200 meters was more like a moving mountain. The monster has 4 legs and no wings, and obviously has no ability to fly. Its back is full of hideous and thick dorsal spines, which gives people the illusion of super strong physical resistance. There are 2 horizontal horns on its head, each of which is as thick as a 1,000-year-old tree. Roar. The roar is heart-shaking, as if it is tearing the sky apart. This is actually a new monster. At this moment, the confidence of everyone in Turkey country was shaken, especially the residents of Julan City. The drivers were all stunned. It's so big. What is the origin of this big guy? Why have I never heard of it before? Never seen it, nor heard of it. In the discussion in the headset, someone suddenly mentioned, "Is this a brand new monster that has no data recorded?" All the drivers immediately perked up and looked at the monster that looked like a bull and a frog with passion. It was as if they had turned into a group of perverts, and they were facing a beautiful girl who had been stripped of her clothes. Delicious. As long as they can kill this monster, or bring back new information, then they will definitely be recorded in history. Since this is a rare opportunity, let's go, guys. A tremor sounded. The two sides officially started fighting, and both the Alpha and the Dangerous Wanderer fully demonstrated their excellent combat effectiveness. The small lizard beasts could not withstand the baptism of new weapons. Even the 4-winged lizard beasts that once became a disaster for mankind were killed in 2 battles within 5 minutes. The 2 alphas used laser swords to cut open the bodies of the 4-winged lizard beasts, and a large number of unnecessary missiles and twin machine guns were released into the wounds. A Dangerous Wanderer frequently launched cannons, smashed the energy shield, stabbed the 4-winged lizard beast's body with a sword, and then brewed a wave of energy cannons to hit the wound. Both sides used a completely brilliant fighting style, breaking the defensive first, and then dealing damage from the inside. This is also the most effective fighting style. After a battle between the Jian Meng Empire and the Polar Kingdom, only one mecha was hit and stopped. The balance of victory is tilting towards the human side. The author is about to cry in the toilet. There will be another update later, which should be around 12 o'clock. Chapter 93, Kneeling in Fear. Seeing this scene, the audience watching the live broadcast of both the Jian Meng Empire and the Polar Empire cheered excitedly. In the past, they watched Wang Xianchase fight monsters, but now the Empire has proved with strength that after a long period of hard work, we can also fight monsters. People are so excited. Oh, God, look at our dangerous wanderer, it's so cool. I want to be ridden by the driver inside for a night and feel his bravery. Cool, wow wow wow, this is our Polar Empire's mecha, our glory is still there. Look, that's our alpha, knowing that it can't avoid the attack, so it used its strongest body to resist a wave of attacks before it was scrapped. At this time, Pussy and Nicholas both breathed a sigh of relief. What the two are most afraid of now is that the live broadcast will fail. After all, no matter who it was before, as long as they showed their powerful strength to the world, they all failed in the end. At present, this is a great start. At least they were not killed by the monsters in seconds, and the one-for-one exchange was worth it. If two Mechas were scrapped, it was purely because the drivers were too rubbish. In several months, all of these drivers had dozens of hours of driving experience, but they still didn't understand the performance of Mechas. What a pair of rookie drivers. At the same time, the Emperor of Turkey, Samuk, did not look as relaxed as Pussy and Nicholas. His face became heavier. The Mechas of the two empires killed two four-winged lizard beasts in the battle, and the balance of victory tilted towards the human side. But two Mechas were scrapped, which could not be compensated in terms of quantity, and the terrifying killers and those small lizard beasts were in a close fight. The 10 energy cannons were powerful, but they took a long time to brew energy. It took more than 10 minutes for a wave of attacks. Now it seems that the human side lost. And there is also a monster that is beyond people's cognition and has not taken any action yet. Often the more this is the case, the more terrifying the unknown is. The battle on the battlefield is at its most intense. The blood of the drivers is burning and boiling, and they are shouting loudly, venting the depression in their hearts for a long time. Now being able to fight monsters is everyone's dream, and it is every driver's dream of pretending to be awesome for countless days and nights. In the past, the Mechas of the Wang's Empire fought monsters every day, and I could only watch through TV. I felt sour, uncomfortable, and mixed with all kinds of emotions. But now I have finally rewritten this shame. It is no longer the Mechas of the Wang's Empire that fight monsters. Thinking that countless celebrities will throw themselves into their arms after solving this battle, the pairs of drivers in the Mechas are full of enthusiasm. Hey, guys, let's go, follow me to do something big. A black guy shouted loudly. After the battle is over, you can ride the high white ones in black, which is the most fulfilling thing. Then I saw a group of 80-meter-tall steel giants rushing towards the largest monster like crazy. Prepare to kill the monster and write human history. Boom, 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 a series of earthquakes and mountain shaking sounded, and every step of the dangerous wanderers would leave a huge pit 1 meter deep on the ground. The remaining 9 alphas were very dissatisfied. If you kill the monster that has never appeared before, doesn't it prove that the Polar Empire is inferior to the strong empire? How can you tolerate this? Then all the Mechas regarded the huge monster as a delicacy and rushed over like crazy. I always feel that things are not good. Sammy watched the TV, and his uneasiness became stronger. A group of Mechas ran together at a very fast speed, and did not take the monsters that had appeared before seriously. They had only one goal, to kill the giant monster with horns that looked similar to a bullfrog. Roar. At this time, the giant monster roared. Its 2 huge horns emitted a mysterious light, and the surrounding ground within a few hundred meters was seen to have mysterious energy fluctuations visible to the naked eye. Circles of energy fluctuations overflowed in all directions. Boom, 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 a group of Mechas who came aggressively and wanted to make a big fuss all knelt down. What's going on? What on earth is going on? Why can't I move at all? The pilots anxiously tried various operations in the mecha, but the body of the mecha seemed to have lost contact and was difficult to control. Wouldn't it be fatal to kneel in front of the monster at this time? The faces of the pilots immediately changed from excited and rosy to anxious and pale. These losers are too embarrassing for our Polar Empire. Nicholas saw this scene through the surveillance and fell to the ground with a thump, and was so angry that his high blood pressure was triggered. Oh, fuck. Pussy's psychological endurance is very strong, otherwise he would not have regrouped and fought again and again after every failed show at force. At this moment, the global audience was stunned. What does this mean? Running over aggressively, everyone thought that the Mechas would turn the giant monster upside down, but in the end they were scared to their knees by the monster. The people of the Wang's Empire burst into laughter. This is really unfortunate news. Pussy failed to show off again. Ha ha ha, these are the first place winners of the Mecha competition. They are really amazing. I was shocked. I'm used to it. Every time they brag about it, they also fail unprecedentedly. Inside the base, Lin Chen and others were speechless. The Mechas of the Polar Empire and the Jianmeng Empire were typical stubborn and reckless. Look at the surroundings of those energy circles. The ground began to collapse, which means that this bullfrog beast relies on these two horns to launch attacks. The attack method should be a strong gravity reaction. Lao Wang paused the TV and discovered the attack method of this bullfrog beast that Lin Chen meant to be a bullfrog beast. With the assistance of this bullfrog beast, these Mechas may be difficult to fight. Lin Chen's eyes were deep. The particle beam guns in the base have been popularized by Mechas. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deal with them with only old-fashioned rifles. Because the Empire's Mechas are clearly positioned, with high mobility and high output, and are compact Mechas. If they don't have particle weapons, they will be restrained by this big bullfrog. Fortunately, the characteristics of the bullfrog beast were also found on the battlefield of Turkey Kingdom. Crack, the ground was collapsing, and the Mechas of the two empires were about to give up, and they went from kneeling to lying. Puss, where is your fucking energy cannon? Nicholas endured the discomfort of his body, kicked open the wooden door, and roared loudly. Puss immediately ordered the energy cannon to cover the Mecha's evacuation. 10 1-meter caliber energy cannons were fully charged, and the muzzles were brewing a huge blue energy group, and there were blue arcs all around. Fire! Pie! 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 10 blue beams shot at the bullfrog beast with overwhelming power. The bullfrog beast had to withdraw its gravity reaction and dodge. Relying on the cover of the energy cannon, the Mechas managed to escape the gravity area. There was no cheering, and everyone was silent. The Mecha was saved, but how to fight the rest of the battle? How to fight? Rely on those 10 energy cannons. My god, it takes more than 10 minutes to charge once. In this time, the monsters would have torn the energy cannons to pieces. The third update, I keep my word. Ask for another wave of votes. Chapter 94. Total Escape Roar. The giant bullfrog beast began to show its power. Gravity reactions spread in circles. The monsters also began to counterattack on a large scale. They had just landed and were caught off guard by a group of monsters in their eyes. After they reacted, the monsters attacked together. In a very short time, 2 more Mechas were scrapped, and the Terror Killer became the target of the monsters hunting in the sky. The situation began to get bad, and it was completely one-sided. Guys, run! A pair of pilots controlled the Mechas and ran madly towards Julan City. Blind confidence was ruthlessly shattered by reality, and the rout began. The rout of one Mecha caused the rout of the surrounding Mechas. The Mechas of the Polar Empire were more powerful. Special move. Rolling ball collision. An alpha shrank into a huge metal ball with a volume of 40 meters and rushed towards Julan City. The Mechas that were originally fighting monsters ran like crazy. This battle cannot be fought. The monsters suddenly become stronger as if they took medicine, and there is also a giant bullfrog with a buff. With the Mechas fleeing, the pretense is overturned again. Pussy and Nicholas blew the horn loudly, as if the monsters came to attack the human city just to seek abuse, but now the Mechas fled so fast that it was a slap in the face. Except for the 2 monsters that exchanged 1-for-1 at the beginning, there was almost no other record that people could talk about. The chain reaction caused by the Mechas fleeing immediately shattered the superiority of countless Jianmeng and Polar people. Oh, fuck. No, our Mechas are the most powerful, why are we running away? No, we must go out and protest against these shitty drivers. Countless Jianmeng watched several dangerous wanderers running for their lives, and they held their head in pain and screamed. The Polar Empire is worse than the Jianmeng Empire. After all, for the people of Jianmeng Empire, they have already experienced more than one failure in their pretense, and their inner defense has generally improved. But the Polar Empire is different. This is an opportunity to show the world that the glory of the Polar Empire is still there. A second ago, they were still proud of the Alpha. Now they feel ashamed of the Alpha. At this time, the residents of Julan City were shocked. The deafening roars getting closer and closer. Looking into the distance, a group of huge shadows that covered the sky and the sun were gradually approaching. Ah, the damn Mecha has attracted the monster. Everyone, run away. Puss is in the same group with the monster. He deliberately reassured everyone, and now he has let the Mecha let the monster into Duelan City. And Nicola, he was the one who said that the monster was here to give away points. The alarm in Duelan City sounded all of a sudden, and the order suddenly became chaotic. Countless people rushed out of the city like crazy. Everyone wanted to escape quickly, because the monster and the Mecha were getting closer and closer. If they ran slower, they would be reduced to ruins along with the city. Pussy saw the chaotic Duelan City from the satellite. He immediately flipped the table in anger. Oh, fuck. He failed to show off again. It would have been fine if he had failed to show off before, but now he failed to show off again after upgrading his weapon. He also knew that it was a foregone conclusion. The scale of the Mechas was difficult to destroy the monsters, so he turned a blind eye to the Mechas' escape. But the outside world didn't know how to discredit him after the disaster of the monsters. He suddenly looked worried. At the same time, Nicholas and the Emperor of Turkey Kingdom, Samu, were also worried. Especially the latter was worried and anxious, but he insisted on not falling down. At the time, the Emperor of Turkey Kingdom had red eyes. What should we do? There were so many monsters. If they were not stopped, half of Turkey Kingdom would be gone. But Pussy and Nicholas, the two old guys, were not up to the task. They looked awesome in front, but they were all kinds of vegetables when they really fought monsters. At the moment, the Mechas of Wang's Empire have not appeared. The Minister of Internal Affairs said. Samu's face suddenly changed, and he said, "No, there are only 32 Mechas in Wangxin, and they are very small. Even the giant Jianmeng Mechas can't beat the monsters. What's the use of them come in?" The Minister of the Interior said, "Let's see if it works. Even if it doesn't work, it won't cause any loss to us. We can only blame them Mechas for not doing well. But their reward is too high, and they want 1,000 tons of gold." Samu knew that the two countries had been resentful for a long time. Back then, Turkey State detained their aircraft carrier prototype and made all kinds of difficulties and extortions, making Wang's Empire a laughingstock in the world. Now go to Wang's Empire for help. How much is a Duelan City worth? What if the monster destroys 10 Duelan cities? The Minister of the Interior spoke again. I understand, I'll go to Wang's Empire now. After a while, Samu carried his tired body and came to the office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs with the Minister of the Interior. They contacted Wang's Empire here. The video call was made to Zhenglai, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Wang's Empire. Excuse me, is there anything I can do for you? Zhenglai's face was full of expression, but he was actually very happy. We would like to ask your country to lend a helping hand. Sure. Zhenglai said. Samu and the central government of Turkey Kingdom were delighted. Is this it? As expected, the people of Wang's Empire are all good people. As long as you ask them for help, they will forget all the previous grudges. This nation deserves to be bullied. You can help, but there is a condition. Zhenglai took out a piece of paper with a densely written list and began to talk about the conditions on the list. Impossible, you are taking advantage of the situation. It was clearly said that it was 500 tons of gold before, and then it was 1,000 tons. How come it has become 1,500 tons now? Samu roared frequently, almost smashing the video call. The other ministers of Turkey Kingdom also looked angry. The damn Wang's Empire was definitely doing this on purpose. It actually tripled the remuneration in a very short time. Robbery, 100 years ago you blocked our aircraft carrier prototype, I remember you made all kinds of difficulties, compared to you, I think this price is very fair. Zhenglai sneered. The remuneration has tripled, it is purely his personal initiative. This is to avenge the humiliation of the empire in the past. Absolutely not, we can't afford such a large remuneration, we must lower some standards. Samu insisted with gritted teeth. This is the price, otherwise the price will increase again tomorrow. Zhenglai sneered and was about to hang up the phone. We agree, but your conditions are too harsh. I want to use other materials to replace some, and you must destroy all the monsters to fulfill the contract. Even if Samu doesn't agree, what can he do? If he doesn't agree now, the losses caused by the monsters destroying the city will be an astronomical figure. It can be offset with materials. We will destroy the monsters, don't worry. Zhenglai smiled slightly. Thank you for Yimeng Jixiang's reward and everyone's recommendation votes. Thank you. Chapter 95. Her words are my words. Vote request. After the two sides reached an agreement, Turkey Kingdom drew up a list of remuneration at the fastest speed. The list includes everything from daily necessities to arms to various heavy metals and so on. If Wang's Empire did not want people, the Turkey Kingdom Central Committee headed by Samuel even wanted to use Turkey women to offset some of the supplies. But unfortunately, it seems that Wang's Empire is not very interested in Turkey women. Samuel was very dissatisfied with this. The lousy Wang's did not understand the beauty of Turkey women at all. On the issue of the contract, both parties carefully reviewed it no less than 5 times before this contract officially came into effect. It has to be said that Xinla gave Samuel a shameless bottom line, for fear that Wang's Empire would not fulfill its due obligations and ask for compensation. Samuel immediately ordered the Minister of Foreign Affairs to announce it globally. Under the eyes of the whole world, Wang's Empire can't play a rogue. What if the monster is not destroyed, or even if there is only one left, and you still want supplies? Humph, no way. In view of the monster attack, our Turkey Kingdom and Wang's Empire have reached a contract after consultation. The other party is obliged to help Turkey Kingdom eliminate all monsters, and Turkey Kingdom needs to pay a certain amount of materials to Wang's Empire. Once the notice was issued, the world was in an uproar. Turkey Kingdom is definitely bleeding heavily this time. But the people of Turkey Kingdom don't have such an idea. At this moment, they generally cheered, especially the cities closer to Julan City. Regardless of whether the Mechas of Wang's Empire can eliminate monsters, at least there is hope now. As for how much materials to pay Wang's Empire, who cares? Eliminate the monsters first. After hearing the news, Pussy was stunned for a moment and sneered. Fuck, Samu, this old ghost is really calculating. With all 32 Mechas of Wang's Empire participating in the war, even if they can fight monsters, can they really eliminate them all? Turkey Kingdom will not pay any reward unless all the monsters are eliminated. Pussy's heart became active again, and he was eager to see how Wang's Empire helped Turkey Kingdom fight monsters for free. It must be very interesting. Wang's Empire. Foreign Ministers Nalai immediately contacted the Mecha base. After explaining the reason, Lin Chen and Jiangxi were stunned. Didn't they say 500 tons of gold? Why did Nalai say 3 times? Turkey Kingdom also has a requirement, that is, it must be paid after all the monsters are destroyed. No problem. Lin Chen said. There are the best pilots and the best Mechas with new weapons here. Isn't it easy to destroy a few monsters? Later, after an emergency contact with the 3rd Corps, the commander of the 3rd Corps jumped directly over the command office after hearing the whole story, and issued an order to use the 2 aircraft carrier battle groups of Chongming and Bais to approach the 2 ports respectively. Let's go. Lin Chen waved his hand before landing the helicopter. The outside world knows that the Empire only has 32 Mechas, but in fact, it is unknown that the number of Mechas in the base has exceeded 3 digits, and there are 16 complete production lines. According to Lin Chen's order, except for the 11 Mechas that stayed at the base, the remaining 100 Mechas all participated in the battle. And each Mecha has been equipped with a modified particle beam gun. As for the particle beam knife and particle barrier, they have not been manufactured yet. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. It took 2 minutes for the 100 Mechas to fly out one after another. This is a truly spectacular scene. If the last time more than 30 Mechas showed off their power in the Jianming Empire, it would make people excited. Then at this time, the 100 Mechas flew out of the base, almost making everyone open their mouths and turn into a knot shape. The sky at this moment is completely setting off the entire Mecha army. The 2 aircraft carrier fleets of the Wang's Empire slowly arrived at the Turkey Kingdom waters along the way due to failures. At this time, more than 10 cities in Turkey have become ruins, and countless people have lost their homes. Turkey is filled with a sad and angry atmosphere of impending national extinction. The hateful Jianming Empire and the Polar Empire are of no use at all. Why hasn't the support of the Wang's Empire come yet? Samuel yelled wildly in his office. In 2 days, the monsters will enter the capital of Turkey. The current capital of Turkey is no longer prosperous. It has become a dead city without any people as early as the day before yesterday. He also sent legions to encircle and suppress them, but the record was quite impressive. In 1 day, 100,000 soldiers of the Legion were gone. Just received news that 2 aircraft carriers of the Wang's Empire have entered our waters. The Minister of the Interior said. Hurry up and announce this exciting news. Samuel immediately gave an order. As the official news that the aid of the Wang's Empire was about to arrive was spread. It spread throughout the entire Turkey Kingdom in an instant. Countless people were excited. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire were the Mechas that abandoned the Mecha competition. Can they really destroy monsters? Maybe, at least when there is no other way out, people see hope and see the dawn from the darkness. I hope the Mechas of the Wang's Empire can bring us hope. Woo, my wife was eaten by a monster. My newly bought girlfriend was crushed by a monster. Now it's leaking faster than it's been inflated. How can I fix it? Don't be like the Jianmeng and Jedi empires, bragging loudly. Regardless of the past grievances between the two countries, and regardless of how much material they have paid. At least when people are desperate, the Wang's Empire has brought hope to the people of Turkey. Here. Off the coast of Turkey. 2 aircraft carrier fleets are breaking through the waves. Jiangshi stood on the deck, holding a telescope and looking ahead. The beach where the battle had taken place had not been cleaned up, and the traces of the battle were still shocking. In the distance, the former Julan city has long become a desolate ruin. Do you think we have gone too far? Lin Chen stood on one side and felt a little reluctant. It feels that although there is a lot of grievances between the Empire and Turkey, especially represented by the officials of the Imperial Navy and the Department of Foreign Affairs, it always feels that their people are innocent. If the aircraft carrier had not deliberately slowed down all the way, more lives could have been saved. Jiangshi remained silent. Behind him, all the Mechas had been carried out of the decks of the 2 aircraft carriers. A full 100 Mechas were all waiting for the order to take off. Most of the pilots were taking deep breaths, and no matter how they adjusted, they could not calm the tension and anxiety in their hearts. All planes, take off. Jiangshi conveyed the combat order with a headset in a heroic manner. However, a breeze blew, and the deck was still bearing the weight of the Mechas. Her words are my words. Lin Chen took off her headset and passed the words to all the pilots. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, all the machines started one after another, and the biplane thrusters of each mecha emitted blue tail flames and flew into the blue sky. Soon all the Mechas took off, and the sky full of Mechas flew towards Turkey Kingdom. Lin Chen did not have any worries. After all, these pilots had been using the score-brushing artifact for a long time. On the side, Jiangshi looked up at him, her eyes full of complexity. The very natural sentence just now, her words are my words, kept echoing in her mind. After a long time, she moved her body. Lin Chen. Lin Chen spoke subconsciously. I'm a little cold. You're wearing less, I'm wearing long johns. There will be another update later, probably after midnight. The author is a slow typist. Finally, I still ask for recommendation votes. Chapter 96. Glowing weapons, so cool. Please recommend. No matter what happened to Lin Chen and Jiangshi on the aircraft carrier, no one knew what happened to this man and woman in the end. No one knew about this. No one knew that Jiangshi was angry for the first time since she met Lin Chen. Her chest was heaving, and she wanted to press him on the deck and beat him. But the 100 Mechas were soon known to people. The flying Mechas in the sky covered the sky and were transmitted to every corner of the world under the satellite broadcast of various countries. The world was shocked. It is difficult to describe the mood at this moment. It feels very spectacular and blood-boiling. That's it. Fuck, there are so many at once. I feel like I'm in a science fiction war movie. Everyone was infected. This is a battle between human machines and terrifying creatures. The winning side must belong to the Mechas of the Wang's Empire. At this time, Pussy was sitting in front of the TV, happily waiting for the Wang's Empire to make a fool of itself and become his brother in distress. However, 100 Mechas suddenly appeared on TV. Oh, fuck. Pussy stood up in shock. Aren't there only 32 Mechas? How come they can bring out 100 Mechas at once? They must be fake, they must all be fake. We must flood Twitter with messages to expose them. So Twitter was flooded with messages, and all kinds of versions that belittled the Wang's Mechas were born. For example, the drivers of the Wang's Empire did not have sufficient driving experience. For example, these Mechas simply could not destroy monsters. In short, every version was very convincing, as if these Mechas and drivers belonged to him. All the news was pushed to the Jianmeng Empire. Countless Jianmeng people were immediately overjoyed. It was worthy of being called Pussy, who could actually collect so much information in a short time. It seemed that the Wang's Empire was about to follow that footsteps of failed pretense. And Nicholas did not want to see this scene at all. It was simply a shame for the Polar Empire. They had gathered the power of the Empire to build 10 alphas and thought they were very awesome, but so many Mechas suddenly appeared in the Wang's Empire. At the time, a large number of Mechas in the sky cut through the sky and rushed over. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire are here. What a strong momentum. Why do I suddenly feel that our Turkey kingdom has been saved? At this moment, countless Jianmeng people watched the heroic Mechas flying quickly in the sky through satellite TV. Obviously, these Mechas are all losers in the Pacific Rim Mecha competition, but everyone is full of confidence in this Mecha unit. In the sky, the Mecha unit has locked the coordinates of the monsters through the message sent by the Empire. They are less than 10 kilometers away. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The huge group of Mechas immediately turned on the power to the maximum. The outlines of the monsters below have become clearer. The Wang's Empire has dispatched 100 Mechas, but there are nearly 100 monsters. From the appearance, the Mechas are not superior. In front of these monsters, they are really a group of pocket toys. So big and so strong. Aya's eyes widened, looking down at the horrified scene below, and muttered to herself. In a very short time, the distance between the Mechas and the monsters is getting closer and closer. The hearts of the global audience, Tukiran and Wang Xinren, were already in their throats. The distance was getting closer. Everyone, attack according to your training, and be sure to stay away from the gravity reaction area of the giant bullfrog. Aya had a high prestige among the pilots, and she was also a person who took the overall situation into consideration. At her command, the other pilots replied one after another. Yes. Release the safety device. Transform. At this moment, each Mecha held a particle beam gun and aimed at the monster. Fire. When humans have real super weapons, monsters will no longer be a disaster. A round of particle beam gun attacks lasted for several minutes. More than half of the monsters were killed or injured. All of them were shot in the head. If it weren't for the energy problem of the pulse power supply of the particle beam gun, these Mechas could almost form a huge firepower network to kill all these monsters in one round. All machines stop attacking, switch to rifles to save pulse power, and leave the particle attack to the bullfrog. I analyzed the situation on the scene in a very short time. Suddenly, 100 Mechas and 100 drivers showed off their driving experience that was beyond imagination. The scene was almost a massacre. The monsters that no country in the world could destroy have now become the targets of various abuses by the Wang's Empire. Although the size of the Mecha is not large, it fully demonstrates its super mobility and attack power. The whole world is quiet. Every audience stared at the screen with a dull face, and did not react for a long time. Damn, what kind of weapon is so awesome? There are actually weapons that can emit light, and a beam of light can easily penetrate the monster's energy shield. This is more widely used than the energy cannon of the Jianmeng Empire. So awesome. I'm more curious now why the pilots of the Wang's Empire have superb driving experience. Are they cheating? The Mecha competition is a pile of shit. How can such a strong Mecha violate the rules? The Mechas of the Jianmeng Empire and the Polar Empire are bragging Mechas, and the Mechas of the Wang's Empire are combat Mechas. Of course, they can't brag about others in the competition. Now many people feel that the previous worries are completely unnecessary, and they are no longer worried about the disasters brought by monsters. As long as the Wang's Empire is there, the whole world is peaceful. The battle lasted about 20 minutes, and the monsters were almost wiped out. Only the last giant bullfrog beast was left. It was alone. At this time, after all the Mechas had solved their respective targets, they all aimed their particle beam guns at the bullfrog beast. Fire! I shouted softly. Chirp chirp, tense beams, with the power to destroy everything, shot at the giant bullfrog beast's huge head and double horns. Roar! The powerful energy impact caused a huge cloud of dust to splash around the bullfrog beast. But the Mechas were still pouring out the remaining energy at the particle beam guns. After a while, the attack stopped and the dust dissipated. The giant bullfrog beast fell to the ground and was dying. Even the gravity buff it brought disappeared because its horns were broken by the powerful firepower network. Yichuan. I called out. Understood, assault soldiers follow me, classic tactics. After Yichuan's voice sounded, 20 Mechas swooped down from the sky. Then the giant bullfrog beast, which was as big as a mountain, became a giant ice sculpture, shining brightly under the light. This battle was a complete victory. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire once again established the title of the Dawn Guardian. They turned into the dawn to protect the city. The city welcomed the dawn and became quiet. But countless Turkey people were caught in a high-spirited carnival. People originally only expected the Mechas of the Wang's Empire to destroy the monsters, but they never expected that it would be so easy to destroy them. The monster is dead. Our Turkey country is saved. I want to join the Wangzhen clan, they are so handsome. The atmosphere of grief and anger in Turkey is no longer there, and everywhere is filled with the relief and joy of surviving the disaster. The waves of cheers are higher and higher, and some even bowed to the Wangzhen Empire in the eastern public to show their gratitude. At this time, Pussy was not as happy as the Turkey people. Even after overturning the table, he was still angry in his heart. He yelled, fuck, impossible, this must be impossible. This was seriously off track with all the scenarios he had imagined before. The third update is complete. P.S. The steel torrent is the best medicine to cure the Japanese invaders in World War II. If there is a way to say that the Japanese are desperate, I think it must be satellite weapons. Chapter 97 I will never ask for help again. According to Pussy's thinking, even if the Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire were powerful, they would definitely end up in a lose-lose situation with the monsters. But they won so easily. Didn't the Mechas give up the Mecha competition because they couldn't compete? How come each of their pilots has such superb driving experience? Why are the Mechas so powerful? Why do their weapons glow like energy cannons? Pussy is now completely confused. The people of the Jianming Empire all showed deep disbelief. Oh, no, didn't they say that the Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire are all bad? Why can the Mechas that gave up the Mecha competition destroy monsters? This must be fake. The only Mecha that can destroy monsters is our dangerous wanderer. I'm just a fool, always deceived by the old thing Pussy. Countless people at the Jianming Empire watched the pictures transmitted through the satellite, and Turkey Kingdom was completely quiet, and nearly 100 monsters were slaughtered. They were full of envy and jealousy. The dangerous wanderer, which they were so proud of, was beaten by the monster and fled in panic. However, the Wangzhen Mecha, which was once ridiculed, used actual proof to smack everyone's face. At this time, Turkey Kingdom welcomed safety. Many Turkey people were full of gratitude to the Wangzhen Empire after surviving the disaster. But the Emperor of Turkey Kingdom, Samu, was almost depressed and vomited blood. Damn monster, why did it mess up when fighting the Polar and Jianming Mechas, but why did it become weak when it came to the Wangzhen Mecha? Samu beat his chest and stamped his feet. At this time, he hoped that a monster could stand up again and destroy all the Wangzhen Mechas with a crushing attitude. Only in this way, Turkey would not have to pay the Wangzhen Empire. But now the monsters are dead, and before, they were afraid that the Wangzhen Empire would cheat, so they issued a global notice of the contractual obligations between the two countries. Now, Turkey Kingdom can't even refuse to pay even if it wants to. I think we actually won this battle. The Minister of the Interior looked at the corpses of the monsters. What do you mean? Monster corpses. The two empires, Jedi and Jianming, have always been very interested in monster corpses, especially the latter. Their energy cannons extract the energy liquid from monster corpses. We can use these corpses as their reward. After the Minister of the Interior said this, Samu's mood instantly changed from gloomy to sunny. Yes, these monster corpses are the greatest wealth. If all these monster corpses are sold, Turkey Kingdom can make a profit in addition to the population loss, and may even be able to study some scientific progress from them. Thinking that Turkey Kingdom will also have its own mecha. Humph, I will never ask for help again. Samu instantly became full of confidence. 2 weeks later, the whole world was in a quiet atmosphere. No monsters appeared again, and the monster attacks were soon deliberately forgotten by people who did not want to live under the shadow of monsters every day. But what the world did not expect was that Turkey Kingdom actually started a business in monster corpses. In a breath, the monster corpses were scattered all over the world in various auction forms. In the end, Turkey Kingdom made a lot of money because of the monster attack. Wangzhen Empire was very unhappy. The corpse of the monster is like a chicken rig to the empire now. It is useless to have it, but it is a pity not to have it. So after destroying the monster, they only forcibly transported back the only bullfrog corpse for research. But when they saw the reward delivered by Turkey Kingdom, they were happy. Cargo ships from all over the world, carrying various materials, arrived in Wangzhen Empire one after another. After the delivery of the goods, these countries from all over the world were very interested in the empire's mechas and pilots. After a series of visits, they were silent. Wangzhen Empire actually has a complete mecha production line and can continuously mass-produce pilots. It is unimaginable and incredible. Of course, this also forced countries around the world to re-examine the Wangzhen Empire. When the news spread to the Jianming Empire, it immediately caused strong dissatisfaction among the pilots of the Jianming Empire. It's okay that the mechas are not as good as others, but now even the pilots are not as good as others. Look at how happy they are, with the best Mechas and the best training. Then look at yourself, who is doing boring physical training every day. It takes hundreds of people to take turns to touch your mecha. The pilots of Jianmeng Empire are jealous of the treatment of Wangxin Empire. That night, after Pussy learned about this, he immediately contacted Wangxin Empire. Since the Mechas are not for sale, then the driving simulator should be sold. If it doesn't work, we can exchange it for technology. Pussy said sincerely, we only want your driving simulator technology. If you have any conditions, just tell us and we will definitely meet them. Sorry, we don't like the things of your Jianmeng Empire. Pussy. So angry. Wangxin Empire. Lin Chen opened the system panel. According to the calculation of the task 2 has been completed, and he has the power that truly belongs to him. Host. Lin Chen. Task 1. Prevent the invasion of monsters and crush the conspiracy of aliens. Task 2. Have your own power. Completed, please receive the reward. Task 3. Can dominate a force. Fan value. 180 million. Accept the task without hesitation. Ding, receive the power combat suit technology. A mysterious force surged into Lin Chen's brain, which was not unfamiliar as if it was innate. It feels like there is some strange knowledge added. He felt this sudden reward for a while, and soon, he opened his eyes and was no longer unfamiliar with the power combat suit technology. Power combat suit. Derived from the Terran Lancer armor in StarCraft. Features. It can effectively resist light firepower, and can also provide nuclear energy, biological and chemical protection, and can penetrate into any environment. Technology. XXXXX. Lin Chen thought deeply for a long time and frowned for a long time. How come this technology feels like it was born for war? Lin Chen tells you something big. Jingxi raised her eyes and spoke in a deep voice. Just now there was an earthquake in Gongjin Mountain. Fortunately, it was only an earthquake in the mountainous area. Jingxi said. Lin Chen stood there frozen. Earthquakes are not terrible, but what is terrible is that it brings more unstable factors to the already unstable space of Gongjin Mountain. If the singularity Elsa discovered formed a channel and connected a low-level civilization, it would be fine, but I'm afraid it connected a world with a high-level civilization. Let's go to the capital. Lin Chen pulled Jingxi's right hand and ran out of the base, and notified Li Xian to drive the helicopter over quickly. The two quickly got on the helicopter outside the base and headed straight for the capital. This matter must be taken seriously, even more seriously than the monster attacking the human city. All kinds of requests. Chapter 98. The second channel connecting to another world opened. Soon, Lin Chen and Jingxi arrived at the capital. The group rushed to the capital in such a hurry that many people didn't react. After all, Lin Chen was labeled as a foreign minister. The central government of the entire empire gathered in the huge conference room, looking at the two uninvited guests who suddenly called everyone here in confusion. I won't introduce myself here. Everyone, the reason I came here is because I found a passage connecting to another dimension, that is, another planet, in Gongjin Mountain. As the protagonist of the scene, Lin Chen's attitude was neither humble nor arrogant. The materials that had been prepared long ago were projected on the wall. What? A passage to another dimension? Is it possible that monsters are coming again? What are you afraid of? We have Mechas, so how can we be afraid of monsters? In my opinion, we should gather the power of the empire to build Mechas, and just kill them and occupy the other world. The central government of the empire felt incredible. There really is a passage connecting to another world, and it is about to be formed and appears in the inland of the empire. Immediately, some people were worried, and some people could not bear the excitement in their hearts. Lin Chen said, yes, the mysterious universe always has some things that we cannot understand, but this channel connecting the other world should indeed appear, but it is not ruled out that it is a world of monsters, or perhaps an alien race, which cannot be confirmed at present. Can you confirm that this is really a channel? Yan Ming is a very elegant man, but at this moment, there is a gleam of sharpness in his eyes. Because compared to how to fight internally, he prefers to lead the Empire's army to conquer a large territory in the other world. Wouldn't it be great? The worst plan is that a channel can be formed. The location is Gongjin Mountain in Guizhou province. An earthquake just occurred there. According to space science, the space there is now unstable, and the singularity will erode the barriers between the two worlds to achieve balance. Lin Chen said. According to the worst plan, how many days will it take to form a channel? Within a week. Lin Chen said. Many people did not question Lin Chen's words. After all, he has produced real evidence and even created the history of the Empire one after another. Moreover, even if nothing happened, the Empire is nothing more than a waste of time and effort. But if they are not fully prepared and the worst result occurs, no doubt everyone present will be a sinner of the Empire. I think it's an exaggeration. The most urgent thing is to guard against monsters. At this time, Queen Jifu expressed her opinion. What is so attractive about the other world? Does the Wang's Empire, which is so big, need to care about another world? Isn't it good to be on the blue planet? We have Mechas that can destroy monsters. The monster issue has temporarily become a major concern for the Empire, but we can't guarantee what will happen to this channel. Yan Ming shook his head. The cause of the Empire were also looking at Jivu. This is a brand new world. This is a great opportunity. Another world means that the Empire has the resources of an entire planet at its fingertips. Even if we take a step back, it is always better to do nothing just in case. First test the civilization of the other world. If it is peaceful trade, it would be the best, but if, many people's eyes flashed with fierce light at the same time. So Queen Jifu's suggestion was quickly rejected by everyone. This ancient empire began to cause internal conflicts and struggles because of Jiang Mingjuan's serious illness, but as monsters frequently appeared and attacked human cities, the center of the empire shifted its internal conflicts. Now, when they heard that there would be a channel connecting to the other world soon, they were all ready to do something earth-shattering. After urgent consultations, a worst-case emergency plan was decided. The 10th Corps stationed in Xiangzhou province was ordered to rush to Gongjing Mountain to build a defense line the next day, just in case. At the same time, the production of military supplies was stepped up. No matter what kind of civilization the other world was, the top priority was to prepare for the worst. Whether it was war or friendly trade, in short, if the opportunity was seized, the empire would usher in a real takeoff. Even with enough resources, exploring the universe would not be a problem. Seeing that the Empire attached importance to this channel connecting to the other dimension, and after a series of measures were being implemented, Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. For some reason, after receiving the system's task reward, he felt that things might not be simple, and might even cause a war between the two worlds. Because I built a mecha before, I immediately fought monsters. Now I have a powered combat suit. Later, Lin Chen and Jiang Shi came to the sanatorium to visit the seriously ill Jiang Mingjuan. After passing through layers of guards, the two entered the ward. At the time, Jiang Mingjuan was lying on the bed. He was very sick, but his mental state was very good. Jiang Mingjuan tilted his head, his expression was happy, and whispered, "Ship." "Yeah." Jiang Shi's mood became unnatural, and she subconsciously took a step forward, but quickly stopped. "Lin Chen is here too." Jiang Mingjuan's eyes were on Lin Chen. "I came to see you on the way. What are you doing in Guodu?" "This is it." Lin Chen told the story in detail about the earthquake in Gongjing Mountain, which would generate a channel connecting the singularities there to an alternate dimension, commonly known as the channel between two planets. "Are you sure it is a channel connecting other planets?" "It is more likely." Lin Chen nodded. Okay, Jiang Mingjuan was excited and took a deep breath, and then fainted with excitement. Lin Chen." Jiang Shi glared at Lin Chen angrily. "Great, I finally know why he had to come here." After Jiang Shi's emergency rescue, Jiang Mingjuan woke up again. He thought about it and said, "If the civilization of the other world loves peace, don't provoke a war. If the other party is ambitious, you should cooperate with Yang Ming. He is an ambitious person and even more ambitious." Lin Chen nodded. Jiang Mingjuan looked at Jiang Shi and then at Lin Chen. His wise eyes kept wandering on the two of them, and he sighed for a long time. It seems that this pig will dig up its cabbage sooner or later. This sighed. Gongjing Mountain in Guizhou province, the singularity discovered by Elsa, has become more unstable since the earthquake, just as Lin Chen expected. It is constantly tearing the space, and finally expanding to form a channel connecting the two worlds. After receiving the order, the 10th Legion marched to Guizhou province together, and according to the marching time, it will arrive the next day. World War: The Second World. The world connected to the blue star is a planet called Kepler. There is constant gunfire here, and countless people die tragically every day. It is a planet in the midst of a world war. The brutal Nihon people have an obvious characteristic: all males will grow a hygienic mustache. This is a team of about 1,000 people. They are wearing yellow military uniforms, holding super old rifles and hanging plaster flags. They are searching for fleeing Tianxing soldiers. Author's words. The next chapter is blocked. I may not have time for 3 updates today, sorry. Because I received a notice from the editor that it will be on the shelves soon, we have to save the manuscript, and I also need to sort out my thoughts. P.S. I will not write about World War II all the time, it is just equivalent to a copy. You will also become numb if you always fight monsters. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 99 Revenge Must Be Taken. A group of Nihon soldiers from Kepler quietly came to the farmhouse 10 kilometers away. This alien Nihon race is unreasonable. The farmhouse received a notice that it must be evacuated within 2 days. They were preparing to evacuate in the afternoon, but they were still a step late. This group of Nihon soldiers suddenly made things difficult. A male tourist who escaped by chance witnessed everything that happened here. He hurriedly passed the video and photos to the officials of Guizhou province. After confirming that no one answered the call at the farmhouse, and after checking with the satellite, the governor of Guizhou province frowned and said to himself, "Shouldn't they all evacuate?" The above notified all the farmhouses in Gongjin Mountain to evacuate within 2 days. All the farmhouses evacuated as soon as they received the notice, but this farmhouse was the only one that was preparing to evacuate in the afternoon. Said the secretary. The governor looked at the message sent by the reporter and said in a deep voice, "This group of beasts are wearing simple yellow uniforms and carrying rifles from hundreds of years ago. Who are they? Are they our group of time travelers?" That's right. To the governor of Guizhou province, the combat effectiveness of this group of alien race Nihon people who came across the border is very poor. Compared with the soldiers of the empire, this group of mysterious ancient soldiers is weak as dregs. Governor, the internal security forces are just reporting back that the 10th Corps is on its way to Gongjin Mountain yesterday under the order of the commander's office. It will arrive in half an hour. They asked our internal security forces whether they still want to eliminate those beasts. The secretary reported. The internal security forces are too far away. Contact the 10th Corps for me. After the governor of Guizhou contacted the commander of the 10th Corps and explained what happened in Gongjin Mountain, the latter immediately sent 2 aviation squadrons with heavy weapons to the Gongjin Mountain farmhouse as soon as possible. At the time, the farmhouse in Gongjin Mountain. The scene became shocking. The ferocious alien Nithings were still cheering. They had no guilt and walked into the farmhouse curiously. They started a treasure hunt. After a smashing. What? Lieutenant Colonel Nihun looked at the picture being played on a TV and fell into deep thought. Because he had found many suspicious points. Many things here could not be named, and they had never been seen before. Life here seemed to be very good. The facilities in the house were better than the place where the great emperor lived. Even the white porcelain bucket would flow out sweet and delicious water. So this place seemed not to be Kepler. Yoshi, our great Nihon people want to conquer this beautiful world and make this world a hunting ground for our Nihon race. Lieutenant Colonel Nihon couldn't help but be overjoyed and looked carefully at everything on TV. It won't be long before this planet will become a hunting ground for the great Nihon race. A strange sound came. Many alien Nihon soldiers walked out of the building curiously and looked at the 6 planes that had never been seen before in the sky. 2 aviation squadrons of the 10th Legion arrived. The next second. Swoosh, swoosh tattoo to wander around of firepower coverage. 8 or 9 out of the 1,000 alien Nihon soldiers on the scene died, and only a dozen people were left standing there, not reacting and directly frightened. The great Nihon soldiers swept across the entire Guizhou of Kepler, but now they have lost their combat effectiveness without any room for fighting back. This is the truest portrayal of the heart of Lieutenant Colonel Nihon who survived by chance. The news here quickly spread to the center of the empire. When seeing the shocking photos, the center of the empire was angry without exception. All departments urgently interrogated the Nihon thugs who survived by chance. Lin Chen and others rushed to the interrogation prison in the capital at night, watching the interrogators in the surveillance interrogation being tirelessly interrogated. When they saw the Nihon people opposite, they were stunned. "Why does it look like a pig's head?" The head of the prison said innocently, "It was beaten. It was escorted by the military doctor of the 10th Corps for interrogation. It was rescued several times along the way. I heard that even the military doctor who escorted it was beaten." Still not saying anything. Lin Chen felt that these people might be aliens who came through the passage by mistake. The passage was formed overnight, which no one expected. The language they speak is similar to the India language. It is still unclear what the power behind them is. They only say that they're loyal to His Majesty the Divine Emperor. They won't say anything else no matter how hard you beat them. Yi Chuan. Lin Chen said. Here. It's up to you. I promise to complete the task. Yi Chuan entered the interrogation room with the relevant equipment with a grim smile. There was no need for any sympathy when dealing with these beasts. But Yalu, I advise you to let me go, otherwise our great Nehun nation will not let you go. You people are only worthy of living in a pigsty. Nehun Lieutenant Colonel, who believed in Bushido, roared wildly. Speak or not? Yi Chuan looked at him coldly. Bagger, you idiot, we, the great Nehun people, will never surrender, and will never betray that great emperor. The electric heating rod in Yi Chuan's hand was connected to the power supply and began to turn red and hot. Sizzlo. Lieutenant Colonel Nehun confessed everything. Half an hour later, an interrogation result came out. These beasts are from the Nehun tribe of the Nehun Empire on the planet Kepler. They came here because they accidentally entered a mysterious passage. The passage between two planets, a world war is taking place on this planet. The Nehun tribe plays the role of invaders and is invading an ancient country called Tianxing country, which is surprisingly similar to the Wangxian Empire. But where exactly Kepler is in the universe, the Empire did not find out through interrogation, because the Nehun tribe themselves do not know their own coordinates. Soon, the Imperial Center gathered together again. The Wangxian Empire was in a rage, and the core content of the meeting was very simple. What is the national policy for Kepler? Should they exterminate the entire race, or use force to force their so-called God Empire to bring all the officials to the Wangxian Empire to commit suicide and apologize? Live in peace and trade with each other? Not possible. Because through the interrogation, the core members of the Empire now know the bad nature of the alien race, the Nehun people. They are beasts, extremely cruel, and have no reason to the weak. Their brutality is deeply rooted in their bones. Therefore, the Empire must nip this danger from aliens in the bud. And the Empire's revenge cannot be left unrequited. Blood debts must be paid with blood. At the meeting, the Minister of the Interior was the first to speak in a deep voice. I have read the results of the interrogation. These alien races, the Nehun people, seem to be very evil. I just don't know if they're afraid of our righteous canons. Chapter 100. The Tianxing people are unwilling to be slaves of a conquered nation. Immediately, a group of contemptuous eyes were cast. Although we have not yet entered the Kepler planet through the passage of Gongjing Mountain, we can compare it from the simple equipment of those Nehun soldiers. The Wangxian Empire is equivalent to a high civilization to the other world. Apart from other things, look at their extremely simple equipment for individual soldiers. You even have to go to the museum to know what their equipment is used for. On the Empire side, every soldier in the Combat Legion has bulletproof vests, standard rifles, communicators, and night vision goggles as standard. From this, we can infer how advanced the tanks and artillery of the alien Nehun people can be. Let's send out scouts to investigate all the intelligence we need first. This is the opinion of the command office. Lin Chen, if we go toward the other world, are you sure that the Empire's homeland will not be attacked by monsters? People's eyes all looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen has been silent and deeply blamed himself. It can be said that the 276 people died because of his miscalculation. The estimated time is 1 week, but the time tunnel is 6 days ahead of schedule. Lin Chen? If we go toward the other world, will our homeland be attacked by monsters? Monsters will not appear within at least 3 months, and the Empire will be safe within a year. With that, everyone felt relieved and dealt with the alien Nehun tribe first. After consultation, everyone finally raised their hand to agree to send a special forces unit to find out all the information about the other world. So, a group of outstanding special forces selected from various legions were given a difficult task. Carrying various equipment, including astronomical telescopes, they must find out the information the Empire wants within a month, especially the forces and maps of Kepler. Because this is related to the progress of the Empire's revenge and whether it can successfully control an entire planet in the future. When the special forces entered the other world to find out information, Lin Chen was not idle, or the entire base was not idle. Because of the production line, there are very few idle people in the base, and everyone has something to do. In a huge laboratory. Lin Chen has been here for 5 days without coming out, and now he is the most eager to take revenge. At the time, the laboratory had been transformed into a small workshop in just a few days. Machine tools, lathes, and various equipment were very complete, and sparks flashed from time to time. Bang, 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 a series of knocks came from the door. Lin Chen put down the wrench in his hand and said, "Come in." As soon as Wang came in, he was stunned to see the suddenly changed style of the laboratory. "What's the matter?" Lin Chen asked. "Well, our particle barrier and particle beam knife have been successfully researched. After testing, the energy is very stable, but the problem of pulse power supply is still difficult to solve, and it cannot be used for a long time. Hurry up the production, and equip as many Mechas as possible in the shortest time." "Understood." "Hey, what is this?" Wang locked his eyes on the equipment that Lin Chen was transforming, and there was half an armor under his feet. "Powered combat suit, there are design drawings on the table. Take a look. This powered combat suit is simply born for war." Wang was amazed. Compared with Mecha, this powered combat suit is more suitable for popularization, but it consumes more resources. "Yes, the war will happen in a month. Question mark. Lin Chen told him everything about the channel connecting to the other world, and explained the news that more than 200 citizens of the Empire died. Wang was silent and excited. He mourned for the victims, but was also excited about a brand new planet. In the following time, in addition to the necessary work, Wang would go to Lin Chen's laboratory every day to help. A week later, a very simple assembly line equipment was born. It took a day to make a set of powered combat suits. "Hey, come in," Lin Chen said to the security guard at the door. "Take off your clothes." The security guard immediately tightened his harness, subconsciously stepped back several steps, and looked at Lin Chen and Wang with shame and anger. The two men had been in there for several days and didn't know what they were doing. Now they suddenly asked him to come in and take off his clothes. He suddenly felt that things must not be as simple as he thought. He prepared himself mentally and took off his clothes slowly. "Fuck, I asked you to take off your coat, what the hell are you doing? Put it on quickly. Come on, let's put on the power combat suit for him." After a lot of trouble, a bloated power combat suit was put on the bodyguard. This power combat suit uses nuclear fuel as internal power. It is no exaggeration to say that this power combat suit can even be used in outer space. "How does it feel?" Lin Chen asked. "Although it looks bloated, it feels very sensitive." The bodyguard moved around and felt novel. Later, Ling King notified Liang Shizong to take the whole set of equipment away. During this period, the Wang's Empire suddenly entered a state of combat readiness. New power combat suits also began to be produced continuously and transferred to the spearhead troops of the 4th Corps. Moreover, the Wang's Empire suddenly stopped exporting anything and imported a large amount of various materials, which soon attracted the attention of the whole world. Is the Wang's Empire preparing for a world war? Jianmeng Empire. Pussy suddenly felt that the Wang's Empire must be preparing for a big thing. Fuck, the damn Wang's Empire must want to start a war. Yes, it must be like this. Impossible. The Minister of the Interior was speechless. "Recruit soldiers, recruit 10 legions for me, the Wang's Empire is too threatening." Pussy was in high spirits and eager to lead the legions of the world to defeat the evil Wang's Empire, plunder their technology and plunder their resources. "We don't have so much finance, and it's already very difficult to manufacture Mechas," the Minister of the Interior said. Pussy was dissatisfied and said, "I don't care, you must add 10 legions to me. Sorry, I have the final say on the Empire's finances." The Minister of the Interior was also dissatisfied and stopped Pussy, the old man, from continuing to whack recklessly. "Oh, fuck." Pussy looked annoyed. It seems that the only way is to use the old method and throw dirty water. So the Wangzhen threat theory began to spread to every corner of the world. However, in fact, after waiting for 10 days and a half a month, the Wangzhen Empire still did not take any action. The world heaved a sigh of relief and sent reporters to the Wangzhen Empire. A press conference was held. There were no less than 1,000 reporters at the scene. A Jianmeng reporter asked first, "Excuse me, is your country preparing to provoke a war?" Xinglai looked at him coldly and said, "We relieve the economic pressure inside the Wangzhen Empire by collecting external materials. It seems that it has nothing to do with preparing to provoke a war." Global reporters. Is this what the Jianmeng Empire calls the Wangzhen threat theory? The Jianmeng reporter said angrily, "If you Wangzhen Empire provokes a war first, our Jianmeng Empire will definitely lead the army of justice to eliminate you evil Wangzhen people." You are not welcome here, come, throw this reporter out. Then 2 security guards came in and forcibly carried the reporter of the Jianmeng Empire out. Xinglai said seriously, now we can talk about business. Our empire feels the uneasiness between countries, but our Wang's empire has no malicious intention to prepare for a world war. Compared with us, I think some empires are more threatening. After all, we only have 15 combat corps now. All the reporters were ashamed. In contrast, the combat troops of the Wang's Empire are not as many as those of the Jianmeng Empire. Soon, the news was brought back to their respective countries by reporters from various countries. What, the Wang's Empire is just collecting materials from the outside world to dissolve their internal economic pressure. Wang's threat theory, such a soothing idea must have been proposed by that old thing Pussy. Nurse, that old patient Pussy ran away from the hospital again. Inside the base, Lin Chen and others took a helicopter to the capital. Not only them, but also the 15 corps commanders of the entire empire rushed to the capital after receiving the order. In addition, the armed police, abbreviated as the Internal Security Corps, the Public Security, the Supervision Bureau, etc. It can be said that all the institutions of the empire are converging to the capital. At the time, busy medical staff were seen everywhere in the command office cleaning the wounds of the returning special forces. Lin Chen and Jingxia entered the command room of the command office. There was a special soldier with a bandaged shoulder who was telling the people who arrived early about the intelligence of the other world over and over again. After talking for a long time, it seemed that he was infected. He said in a deep voice, the Nihun people, relying on their well-equipped weapons, are invading the Tianxing kingdom. At the time, the Tianxing people were unwilling to be the humiliation of being slaves of a conquered country, and often risked their lives to fight. I am saving my manuscripts for the release. I will try to resume 3 updates tomorrow, sorry. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.